At Nationals Park in Washington, D.C., the New York Mets play the Washington Nationals. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Fios by Verizon. Fios is not cable. We're wired differently. Visit getfios.com today. By Cash for Life from the New York Lottery. You could win $1,000 a day for life. And by Bob's Discount Furniture. Shop in store or online at mybobs.com. Well, the second half of the season begins tonight, and for the Mets, it begins in our nation's capital a day before the 4th of July. What could be more fitting? Well, what could be fitting for the Mets at Nationals Park is to find a way to play a whole lot better in the second half than they did in the first half. 38-43 through the first 81 games. It'll take a lot more than that to run down the first-place Nats. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Washington. Gary Cohen, Ron Darling with you tonight as the Mets open a 3-game series against the first-place Nationals. The Mets come in 9.5 games behind Washington, 38-43, as we mentioned in the first half. And I guess the big question is, if the Mets are to play better in the second half, regardless of the injuries, what's it going to take?
Well, I think in this order. I think the starting pitching, other than DeGrom, which you expect excellence all the time, the starting pitching is going to have to get into the 7th inning every night. I think that will take care of your bullpen woes. I think UNS Cespedes, you pay him a lot of money. He's got to have the kind of second half and carry your ball club that we know he can have. And I think even more importantly, and I know some people think it's a small part of the game, their infield defense is going to have to be much better in the second half than it was in the first half. Those little plays that have added up over the course of the first half is the reason they're in the pickle they are. Well,
the Mets have gotten a boost over the last few weeks with the return of Steven Matz from elbow problems that kept him out for the first couple of months. Matz has been awfully good through his first 4 starts.
He really has, and going deep into games, and against Miami, it was his best start. So precise with his fastball. His breaking pitches were there too, helped by some good defense from Cabrera. But this is the kind of games that you expect from Steven Matz. Of all the pitchers in the rotation, he is the guy that can limit his pitch count and go deep into games.
And so Matz gets his 5th start of the year tonight against a Washington team that has suffered a few blows recently, but still is stocked with 5 All-Stars, and one of those All-Stars goes to the mound for Washington tonight in Steven Strasburg.
Well, Strasburg didn't look that great against the Mets the last time he pitched. He only got into the 6th inning. Only gave up 2 runs, though, but in his last start against the Cubs, he was dominant. 13 strikeouts over 7 shutout innings.
Had a little bit of a back problem during that start. We'll keep our eye on that tonight. It's the Mets and the Nationals opening a series in D.C. on the eve of the 4th of July. Mets and Nats. All the action coming your way tonight right here on SNY. SNY is brought to you by Delta. Mets fans win amazing prizes from Delta Airlines. Visit sny.tv/Delta Dugout for details. Be at Citi Field on Friday, July 14th for Free Shirt Friday when the Mets take on the Rockies at 7:10 p.m. All fans in attendance will receive a Mets t-shirt courtesy of Premio Real Italian Sausage. For tickets, visit Mets.com/Free Shirt Fridays. Unlimited baseball break brought to you by T-Mobile. All-star teams were announced last night. National League starters include 3 Nationals, and it could be 4 if Mike Scherzer gets the start on the mound, which appears likely since Clayton Kershaw pitches on Sunday and probably will not be available. Congratulations to Zach Cozart. He gets a donkey out of it.
That's right.
I mean, how many guys get a donkey for making the All-Star team?
Hee-haw.
Strasburg, he's no donkey. He'll throw the first pitch when we come back. For the first time in about a month and a half, Jose Reyes goes back in the leadoff spot because Curtis Granderson is still out with an amorphous hip injury. Brandon Nimmo, who batted leadoff yesterday, had a struggle, so he's down in the 8-hole today. Mets are short of outfielders right now with Conforto and Lagares on the DL and Granderson banged up.
Well, you see the Toyota numbers for Steven Strasburg. 9 wins, going for double digits here before the first half. 78 and 43 and 172 starts in his career. And defensively for the Nats, Coors Light's defense. Brian Goodwin in left field. He will lead off for them. Michael A. Taylor's been hot. Of course, Harper in right. Rendon. Sanchez is playing shortstop with the injury to Trey Turner. Wilmer Defoe. Murphy's getting the night off. Zimmerman at first base and Matt Wieters behind the plate.
Of course, the Nats had a late arrival. They played the Sunday night game in St. Louis last night, and that's the reason that Murphy, among others, getting the day off.
Unlike Jacob deGrom, though, Steven Strasburg flew in early yesterday.
Mets got here in a very reasonable time, playing a day game yesterday at home. They were in their hotel by 7 o'clock. The Nats didn't get to their homes until about 4 a.m. So the Mets are certainly the more rested team tonight, other than Strasburg. Reyes leads off, hitting a 204 on the year, and Strasburg's first pitch, a fastball for a strike, and we're underway. Last time Reyes hit leadoff was May the 17th in Arizona, 43 games ago. He hit leadoff most of the early part of the season, but not very much lately. And the slider in for a call strike from Strasburg, and it's 0-2.
Things to watch for at home, folks. Strasburg throws every pitch from the stretch, and you're going to see 95 plus on the fastball, that good slurve, and a changeup.
Comes off a 13 strikeout performance his last time out against the Cubs as Reyes fouls off the changeup. Third time the Mets are facing Strasburg this year. They beat him here in D.C. in April. He beat them in New York in June, although he was not dominant in that game. Struck out only 5 and 5 1/3. Threw a lot of pitches in that game, but the Nats won it 7-4. And the fastball outside to Reyes, 1-2. Strasburg has dominated the Mets at Citi Field, not so much here, and really that's true of the Nats and the Mets. The Nats have had much greater dominance of the Mets in New York than they have here in D.C. And that's borne out so far this year. The Mets won 2 of 3 the first time they were here, but the Nats have won 6 of 7 at Citi Field.
And when asked about it, Terry Collins said, you know what? Against the Nationals in this ballpark, for whatever reason, we hit the ball out of the ballpark. That's why their record's better.
Well, the Nats hit the ball out of the ballpark against the Mets in New York.
That's right.
1-2 to Reyes leading off, and he pulls one foul. Cabrera to follow, then Cespedes for the Mets. Well, there you see the records. 15 and 45 against the Nats at home, but a more respectable 23 and 28 here. Interestingly, both these teams have better records this year on the road than they do at home. Mets are a 500 team on the road so far. 1-2 coming, and Reyes goes down swinging on the fastball for the first out of the night.
It's one of the things you saw in his last start against the Cubs. Strasburg was getting a lot of swings and misses at his fastball. He loves usually to strike out hitters on his slurve and his changeup, but his fastball's been good the last couple of starts.
So 1 out and nobody on, and now has Dribble Cabrera, who has a couple of home runs in his career against Strasburg in 12 career at bats. And goes after the first pitch curveball, 0-1.
Notice that most of the pitchers against Cabrera's first time up are throwing breaking balls. Remember, the first third of the season got a lot of hits on first pitch fastballs.
And Strasburg quickly ahead, 0-2.
Whenever I think a pitcher's flying in early to make sure they get enough sleep, I always go back to Oliver Perez when he flew out early to San Francisco. Only lasted, what, 2/3 of an inning?
I think it was 1/3. Yeah, we don't know what he did while he was out there by himself. Cabrera down on 3 pitches, and Strasburg has back-to-back strikeouts to start the night.
2 fastballs upstairs to the left-handed hitters for 2 strikeouts. Reyes and now Cabrera. Just such a big, powerful pitcher is Strasburg. I don't even know if you can tell on our camera, but it's every bit of 6'5", every bit of 250 plus.
So now Cespedes, and we talked about it over the weekend. If the Mets are going to make any kind of move in this series in the second half, they need for Cespedes to find his way out of the funk that he's in right now. He did not look good over the weekend against the Phillies, or for that matter against the Marlins in that series either. Just 4 hits in his last 30 at bats. This is a guy he normally hits extremely well. He's 7 for 12 against Strasburg.
Last at bat in yesterday's game, a bullet, although for an out, to the third baseman.
That was his best at bat in a week, and he leans back out of the way of that 97-mile-an-hour fastball, 1-1.
We'll get your attention right there.
Strasburg going to the All-Star game for the 3rd time. He was an All-Star last year. Remember, he started 13-0 last year, then faded, then got hurt, and missed the postseason again. Little number, If it stays fair, it's trouble right along the line, and it stops inside the line. An infield hit for Cespedes. Well, he's had a few hits like that over this rough stretch, but it'll keep him sane anyway.
I mean, all of that strength, the swing speed matched by probably no one in baseball, and he gets a base hit on a 40-footer.
I mean, normally once that ball comes off the grass, it's going to find its way across the foul line.
Not anymore. I think almost all the fields, Gary, now are so flat or even keep that ball fair.
So now Jay Bruce, and he's hitless in his last 11 at bats. Cespedes at first and 2 down, and a first pitch curveball again from Strasburg to get ahead.
Before they had all this technology on how to drain the field, all fields used to have runoffs, so the fields would be coned almost, so that's why the balls would go foul.
Well, like Cespedes, Bruce has good career numbers against Strasburg. But Strasburg looking dominant early in this game. Ahead 0-2 on Jay. And he hits one in the air to right field. Harper right there waiting for it. And that retires the side. An infield hit and one left. Steven Matz takes the mound to face the Nats when we come back. It was all working for Steven Matz in his last start against the Marlins. 7 scoreless innings, and he tries to keep that going tonight.
I don't know how you'd exactly feel about this place for your Steven Matz. The last time he was on this mound, he threw 8 shutout innings, but then he was shut down for the rest of the season.
Yeah, that was last year, and faced the Nats a couple of weeks ago in New York. Pitched a pretty good game, but he gave up 3 home runs in that game. Only 4 runs allowed over 7 innings, but that was enough to beat him. Brian Goodwin will lead off for the Nationals, and Goodwin takes a fastball for a strike. The Nats are a little banged up right now. No Jason Worth, he's been out for a while with a toe injury. No Trey Turner, he's out with a broken wrist, and no Adam Eaton for the season because of the torn up knee suffered against the Mets in April. And so the top of the batting order in particular looking a lot different now than it did earlier in the year.
And Murphy not in the lineup, so this is as good a chance for the Mets to pick up some games against this club that he said is banged up.
Undoubtedly we'll see Murph the next 2 days against right-handed pitching, and Goodwin takes a strike. 2-2. Brian Goodwin making his 28th start of the year, hitting leadoff for the 4th time. First round pick by the Nats in 2011. Hitting at .263, and he lines one into center field, and he's got himself a leadoff hit. So here is the lineup for the Nats. Michael Taylor has really done a great job filling in for Eaton in center field. Wilmer Difo getting the start at second base, and Adrian Sanchez his first big league start after 11 years in the minor leagues, playing shortstop today. So here's Taylor. When Eaton went down in late April, Taylor was 2 for 21 on the season with no home runs. He's hitting .280 now, 11 home runs, .509 slugging percentage. He's got speed, he's got power, he strikes out a lot, but he is a talent who finally is having himself a sustained period of success.
He's been given some chances before, and he has had streaks of being an excellent player. He's trying to put it all together for a majority of the season.
And Nats misses high with the fastball, 2-0. Last year Taylor played in 76 games, hit .221 with 7 home runs. He's already far outstripped those numbers this year. Bryce Harper hitting third in the order, waiting on deck. And Nats throws it by Taylor, 2-1.
What we saw at Citi Field is that Taylor not only has power to the pull side, he hit a home run to center field and one to right field. See the defense pretty straight up everywhere against Taylor.
Taylor showing bunt, and that fastball misses, and now it's 3-1.
Looks like also they should put that in the back of their mind. He looked like he was going to push that bunt, Gary, towards Duda. That's what you usually do against a left-handed pitcher who follows through to the third base side.
Unlikely he'll be bunting here on 3-1. Goodwin at first, and Matz will check in on him. Goodwin has stolen just one base. And it's a call strike. Taylor on his way to first, and Paul Nart calls him back.
It's a couple of pitches of Goodwin. He looked back at Nart, and now Taylor was running to first. You see the umpires, Nart, John Libka, but he's at second base.
Yeah.
Carlos Torres is at first base. He'll have the 11 o'clock game tomorrow. Crew chief Daniel Demuth at third.
Libka, first time we've seen him. They will spare him the morning game. See him behind the plate Wednesday. Three and 2 with nobody out. Goodwin not running, and Taylor takes inside, ball 4, and the Nats have the first 2 men on for Harper. Last night in the Sunday night game in St. Louis, Bryce Harper had himself a night, 2 home runs in the first 3 innings.
Yeah, he turned it up a notch for the game of the world. That ball was a changeup, almost on his shoe tops. Flicked it out, and just shows you how much power he has.
And against a pretty good pitcher in Carlos Martinez.
62 RBI now for Bryce.
He'll be going to his 5th All-Star game. The 9th player in history to make 5 All-Star games before his 25th birthday. Last to do it, Mike Trout, who will not play in the All-Star game, by the way. The Angels just announced.
And he's recovering from that thumb injury. DeMick had to be in there. Mickey Mantle.
So early trouble for Matz as Harper takes inside for ball 1. Let's see, you got Mantle, Al Kaline, Orlando Cepeda, Johnny Bench, Fernando Valenzuela, Ken Griffey Jr., Pudge Rodriguez, Mike Trout, and now Bryce Harper. 5 All-Star games before turning 25.
I barely watched 5 All-Star games before I turned 25. I shouldn't say that. That's not true. Harper's just a special player, you know. You look at his numbers, and you know they don't speak to his hustle, don't speak to plays every day, plays hurt.
Well, Matt's painting himself into a corner here. First two men on, behind 2-0 on Harper. Ryan Zimmerman waiting on deck. So Stevens got a big pitch to make right here. And he gets it over for a strike.
It's interesting. It's almost, I don't think that was the changeup. That might have been the cutter, Gary, that we haven't seen. He threw a couple in his last start against Miami.
Almost looked like he guided that ball in there.
Maybe that's what it was. A get me over pitch.
Harper only has 2 of his 20 home runs against lefties, but he's hitting .311 against lefties, so it's not as though he gives up much. There's a fastball for a strike, and it's 2-2. Matt's making his 5th start of the year after missing the first 2 months with elbow issues. But he has come back strong at 2.67 ERA through the first 4 starts. But early traffic to try and negotiate here against the top scoring team in the National League. Goodwin at second, Taylor at first with nobody out. 2-2 to Harper. Got him looking. And Matz has his first out. And Harper lingers to discuss it with Paul Nart.
Well, 2 things happened there. One, Steven made a perfect pitch on that outside corner, doubled up on the good fastball away. And I also think part of Bryce was thinking that another pitch was coming, so he's surprised by that offering.
So a big first out for Matz. And now Zimmerman, who is having the comeback year for the ages after hitting .218 last year. He's going to the All-Star game for just the 2nd time in his career. I was a little surprised when I read that, thinking about how good he was early in his career, but only went to 1 All-Star game as a third baseman.
Missed a lot of time to injuries, but yeah, you're right. I mean, he was the best player on this team for so many years.
Hitting .335, second in the National League, 19 homers, 62 driven in, tied with Harper for the club lead. And Matz misses with that slider, and it's 2-0.
Dangerous pitching here for Steven in the first inning, getting behind this powerful lineup.
Anthony Rendon, last time Mets faced him here, he only drove in 10 runs. So Steven finds himself behind in the count again, and Zimmerman fouls back the fastball. 96 from Matz as he dialed it up.
Defensively for the Mets behind Matz is Lexus defense. Cespedes, Nimmo's playing center field with Granderson hurt with that hip. Bruce in right. Rivera, Reyes, Cabrera, and Duda have been in the infield the last 3 days now. And Darno back behind the plate after Rivera started yesterday.
th pitch of the inning coming up for Matz. Runners go. Zimmerman fouls it back. A curveball up with that either double steal or hit and run play on.
Yeah, I don't think it was hit and run. It was a double steal. Goodwin did not have a great jump. If Zimmerman did not swing at that, Darnell would have had a chance out in the third. Hall left a little late also because you have to make sure that Goodwin was going.
Well, teams run on Matz. He is slow to the plate.
I think he's slow to the plate, and he must have a tell also, Gary, because he gives away when he's going to the plate.
So now 2-2 to Zimmerman. And he grounds one down to third. Rivera gets handcuffed but gets it on to second for 1, and Cabrera makes the turn, and the Mets turn the 5-4-3 double play to get Matz through the opening inning. Great recovery by Steven Matz. No score after 1. Second inning with no score. Steven Strasburg faces T.J. Rivera, who started that inning-ending double play, and T.J. takes a strike. T.J. has been swinging the bat last 17 games, hitting .345, and now getting another consistent run of playing time. It's not the first time this year he's gotten a chance to play regularly and has hit. And a curveball in for a strike, and it's 0-2. And Strasburg has been ahead of everybody early in this game, just as Matz has been behind everybody early in the game. TJ up to .283 on the year. Homered in back-to-back games. And he grounds that one behind third. A fair ball. Rendon with a long throw to make right on target. What a great throw by Anthony Rendon for the first down.
Oh, that was a big league play because there's nothing else he could do. The ball was hit with a lot of topspin. It took him deep and almost into foul territory, so he knew he had to get rid of it straight over the top, and I did not know he had that kind of arm until that throw right there.
How many times do you see a third baseman make a throw to first from the outfield grass? That was the case there, and he could not have made it any better. So 1 out and nobody on. Now Lucas Duda. And Lucas pops up the first pitch he sees right near the mound. Who wants it? Rendon climbs the hill, gives way, and Sanchez, the rookie, takes care of it for the second out.
Well, it's nice to see the 10 years in the minor league rookie, but he's known for his glove, and he took charge. Rendon looked like he was getting shakier as he approached that ball, so it's good that Sanchez called him off.
I mean, he had to go up the hill and down the side of the hill.
Rendon did, yeah.
Well, so did Sanchez.
That's right. But I was thinking that he went off kind of the up and then the side. Rendon would have had to go straight over the mound to get to that ball.
Pitchers can't catch the ball?
Catch it. I can catch it.
It's Travis d'Arnaud.
I mean, my problem is I had 17 and number 8, and they both wanted to catch everything.
Well, Strasburg is more from the traditional school of let the infielders take care of it. d'Arnaud loves to hit in this ballpark. 18 career games here. Travis is hitting .349. He had a 2-home run game against Max Scherzer here earlier this year. In fact, when you break it down for d'Arnaud, he's got 9 home runs this year. They've all come on the road. Still hasn't hit a home run at Citi Field this year.
I was thinking about that the other night because I saw Jose Abreu finally hit one in Chicago.
Because I think his first 13 came on the road. 1-2 to Travis, and he just got a piece of it. Strasburg throwing a lot of curveballs early in this game.
He's the one pitcher from our perch here, which is pretty high. I don't even have to look at the monitor. I know exactly what he's throwing from just the hitter's reaction and the flight of the ball.
This is our highest broadcast location, the highest one in Major League Baseball. And would you like to see where we are? Well, here we are. We're up here on the 7th level, which they call the 5th floor here because they don't want it to seem so high.
Yeah, they use this as the drop zone in the winter when the team's not playing here.
It's a long way down, but it's very reminiscent of the view I used to have sitting in the upper deck at Shea Stadium. So it's actually very comforting to me. It feels like childhood to sit up here.
Nostalgic for you.
Very.
Okay.
We're going to be doing a game from the promenade level again at Citi Field, not too far down the road.
Fantastic.
That was great the last time we did that. 3-2 to d'Arnaud with 2 out. And Travis takes strike 3 call. Curveball got him looking. Third strikeout for Strasburg, and the Mets are down 1-2-3 with some help from Rendon. No score in the second. Summer back-to-back. The action begins at the Home Run Derby on ESPN July 10th at 8 p.m. Eastern. Then catch baseball's biggest stars at the 88th MLB All-Star Game July 11th on Fox. Coverage begins at 7:30 p.m. and our congratulations to Michael Conforto, the Mets' lone All-Star, who says he will be ready. He's eligible to come off the disabled list on Saturday. Hopes to play Saturday and Sunday and be ready for Tuesday's All-Star Game.
I have to say I was not as surprised that Jay Bruce didn't make it, even though he's having a great first half, because there's so many outfielders. I was surprised DeGrom didn't make it.
Well, Terry Collins made a good point when talking about DeGrom not making it. You know, they've changed the system a little bit. The managers don't get any calls anymore.
Yeah.
It's the voting by the fans, then the player selections, and then the MLB office.
That's right.
And Terry figured that when the players were doing their voting, DeGrom was going through his rough patch and had not hit this latest hot streak where he's been so untouchable the last 4 starts, and that might have cost him. There are the starting pitchers from the National League. Interesting that the National League went with 6 starters and 6 relievers. The American League went with 8 starters and 3 relievers.
Yeah. Well, it went through a period where it was almost all relievers for a while, it seemed like.
That's driven out to right field by Rendon. Back goes Bruce onto the warning track to get it. Boy, Jay is just playing the heck out of right field. It was a nice play. Got a good break on that ball for the first out.
Well, that's half the battle. When you don't have blazing speed, you've got to get great jumps, and Jay Bruce has gotten that all season long. It's almost like he's got his first step as the ball is being hit, like he anticipates Matt's throwing an outside fastball, anticipates that ball coming his way.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now the switch hitting catcher Matt Wieters, hitting much better as a right-hand batter so far this season. 286 from this side, 237 from the left side, and he hits one in the air to center. Nimmo edges over to right center, and Brandon squeezes it, and quickly there are 2 out. Take a look at the city probables for the 11 a.m. game. I can't even say it. Tomorrow morning, Seth Lugo against Joe Ross, and then DeGrom goes Wednesday night against the struggling Tanner Roark. 11 a.m.
So I asked you yesterday. You still haven't given me an answer. When you get jumping in that cab?
Let's wait to see how long this game goes.
Okay, all right.
Fastball call strike to Wilmer Defoe. Defoe playing second base today. His 20th start of the year. We trade Turner down. They have Stephen Drew to play the majority of the shortstop, but they've got Defoe who can play there, and now they have Sanchez who can play shortstop and is playing there today for the first time. But it is certainly a diminished Nats lineup without Turner in it. 0-2 from Nats, and Defoe takes just off the plate. 1-2. Defoe's 3rd season with the Nats, lifetime .224 hitter. He's a switch hitter. And he grounds one out to Reyes. The running toss in the dirt, and Duda can't pick it up. And Defoe is aboard. Well, Rivera declined to cut it off, and Reyes came up a little short on the throw. Looked like an easy hop for Duda, but he couldn't pick it.
Well, Rivera kind of took a bad angle towards it, so what happens? Kind of gets in the way. Oh, you don't see it on our shot there, but Reyes didn't get enough on that throw, and that's a ball usually Duda picks most of the time.
Did they score that a hit?
I think they did.
Oh, come on.
Home hit, Gary.
Come on. That's not a hit.
Come on. It's a home hit.
That's bad. That makes, you know, I have to say this.
You don't have to.
Well, no. I have to say this because it's a nice thing.
Yeah.
The official scorer here for years was a gentleman named David Vincent, who was a great baseball historian and a very good official scorer, and he just passed away. And in tribute to David, I would have liked for whoever the scorer is tonight to have made a better call. How about that?
I mean, it's a short hop.
And he would have been out.
And he would have been out, yes.
And that makes it an error.
Agreed. You got to, separate the play and the throw.
Adrian Sanchez at the plate, making his first major league start. He's 26 years old. This was his 11th minor league season. Just got called up 4 days ago. A couple of innings in the field, but now his first start after one at bat, a game-ending at bat the other night. And he hits one on the ground to Reyes, but he boots it, and everybody's safe. So 2 ground balls to short that should have been outs, and neither one is an out. And the Nats have 2 men on, and if nothing else, they'll clear the pitcher spot here in the second. They're going to score that a hit too. Well,
I talked about it in the open. If the Mets don't shore up their infield defense, it doesn't matter how well they hit or pitch. These are plays that have to be made in any game. But in today's game, the pitch count just goes up and up and up.
So that one is an error. Charge to Reyes. 2 out and 2 on here. Strasburg, who has 5 hits, including a home run this year. Lifetime 156 hitter. And of course, the other upshot of this is that Matz is forced to throw this many more pitches early in the game.
Exactly.
And that puts more pressure on Matz. It puts more pressure on the bullpen. Now, that having been said, in the last week and a half since Cabrera came back and they moved him to second and left Reyes at short, the middle infield defense has been a little better. Still don't have the greatest range, but at least most of the plays have been made. But that's 2 plays in a row that Reyes did not make. And curveball for a strike, 1-2 to Strasburg.
It's just demoralizing as a pitcher and a pitching staff when you get such soft contact and you don't get an out when it's a ground ball in the infield.
One-two coming, and Strasburg pops one up into shallow right. In comes Bruce to call, and that retires the side. So Matz works around the infield hit in the air. That sends us off to the 3rd. Time for a cotton candy break. Don't tell Keith. He hates this stuff. Scoreless innings to start this game. That's his line from his last start against the Cubs last Wednesday, and he was spectacular.
You know, I watched this game on the way down here on the train, and the one thing that I saw that I hadn't seen from Steven is that he had a lot of swings and misses on his fastball. You know, he usually uses the curveball and changeup to strike out hitters. His fastball was electric that night.
He's given up just an infield hit through the first 2 innings tonight. Brandon Nimmo hitting 8th in the order will lead off. And Nimmo takes curveball for a strike. Nimmo led off yesterday and went 0 for 4. Hit 1 ball to the warning track in left center. but dropped to 8th in the order today. Curtis Granderson was hoping to be able to swing the bat today, but although his hip is feeling a little better, it's not significantly better, and you have to wonder whether that's something that may linger. And it's an issue because the Mets don't have any other outfielders, with Conforto on the DL and of course Juan Lagares on the DL. That leaves no backups in the outfield if Granderson can't play. I guess you could stick TJ Rivera out there if you had to. But if Granderson is going to miss more than another couple of days, I would think they would have to make a move and bring an outfielder up. Conforto is due back from the DL on Saturday for the second game in St. Louis. 1-2 coming, and Nimmo fouls it off.
If you're left-handed hitters for the Mets, you're going to have to be ready with 2 strikes on the outside part of the plate. Paul Nart is giving a little bit on that outside corner on the breaking pitches and fastballs. You saw him call the one against Bryce Harper for a strikeout.
Steven Matz on deck, and then Jose Reyes for the Mets in the 3rd. One-two coming, and the fastball just outside. Strasburg's actually been more successful against left-hand hitters than against right-hand hitters. Lefty's hitting just .212 against him. Looks right from that center of the rubber. You don't see that much. And Nimmo fouls off the fastball. I mean, usually the pitcher will pick a side, right?
He will, but he's got such big feet. I think if he picked a side, he'd be on the downside of one of the sides of that mound. He's a little bit on the third base side, Gary, just a tiny bit. But you're right, you don't usually see it right that place there.
In Little League, everybody pitches from there. Get that big hole.
That's right.
Nimmo fouls one back.
This is what happened to Strasburg when he pitched against the Mets at Citi Field. Even though he got the win and gave up a couple runs, he didn't go deep into the game, and the Mets fouled off a lot of pitches and got his pitch count up.
Well, Nimmo can run some deep at bats. This will be the 8th pitch from Strasburg, and Nimmo takes strike 3 call. Curveball got him looking. 4th strikeout for Strasburg. Tonight's quote of the game presented by Investors Bank, banking in your best interest. This was Pudge Rodriguez after Steven Strasburg made his debut. Remember, he struck out 14 his first time out. He said, I've caught a lot of guys in my career, and it's true what they say about him. He can locate all his pitches.
14 strikeouts against the Pirates that night.
Here's Matz. Stevens 2 for 9 at the plate this year. To see the kid for the Reds the other night, Jackson Stevens, drove in 2 runs in his debut, and they made such a big deal about it in Cincinnati. No Reds pitcher had driven in 2 runs in his debut since, I don't know, sometime in the 60s. Ladies and gentlemen, Steven Matz.
Well, they should also remember it's Matz did it against the Reds.
That's right. Well, the thing about Steven is he had 4 RBIs in his debut. He's had 4 since.
Yeah, well,
I mean, it's hard. It's hard to do that every time out.
What's going to happen to Steven is that it's already gotten around the league. He just hasn't pitched enough because he's been hurt. They know he's a good hitter, and they're going to pitch him like a hitter.
Well, that's really this whole staff.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
Syndergaard and DeGrom. Grounded down to 3rd. Rendon handles it and throws out Matz 2 away. Steven always runs hard on ground balls. You see that all the time from pitchers.
You know, I was told early in my career to run hard on ground balls, only because it's just the right thing to do. You know, you want to act like you're one of the athletes out there. I always thought it was the right thing to do. It's not for everybody, but I always thought it was the right thing to do.
Well, you also don't want to get caught in between the way Robert Gazelman did.
That's right.
You know, if you start slow and then think you have a chance and you turn it on, and Robert ended up straining his hamstring and cost him significant time. Here's Reyes, who struck out his first time up, and Jose fouls it off. on a late swing foul. It was more like a 2-strike cut from Reyes.
He's throwing hard. And how do you know? It's not by the radar gun. The hitters are letting you know. Reyes sitting on fastball late both times. He's faced 10 hitters. First pitch strikes 10.
Yeah, that's good, right?
Yeah, it is good.
Here's the 0-2. Yeah, that's upstairs. 1-2 to Reyes. Asdrubal Cabrera would be next.
That usually in his sequence of pitches, fastball in sets up the slurve or curveball down and in.
Reyes lines one up the middle, a base hit. So he got on the curveball and hit it underneath Strasburg. And Reyes has the Mets' second hit of the night.
Breaking ball, but it caught a lot of the plate. Nice job by Reyes, just getting that on the ground, hitting it hard enough to get up the middle. Underneath the glove of Strasburg.
Looking at that glove longingly, like, you betrayed me. I thought there was going to be a baseball in there.
Well, he was supposed to bounce that breaking ball. He didn't do it, so it cost him a hit.
So now Cabrera, who struck out his first time up. So that's the first hit to the outfield the Mets have had. Their first hit was a 30-foot dribbler off Cespedes' bat that stayed fair along the third base line. Each team now with 2 hits.
Strasburg, for a big right-handed pitcher, gets rid of the ball pretty quick to home plate. Slide step.
Reyes is still 2 stolen bases shy of that 500 stolen base plateau.
Well, the big change is, well, look at the slider, folks, from last year to this year. You know, Gary talked about him being injured. He thought maybe the injury to his elbow came from throwing too many sliders. He's reduced that and gone more to the curveball and changeup.
Really, both these pitchers today have done the same thing.
Yes, they have.
I mean, in Matz's case, he pitched all of last year with a painful bone spur that he had removed at the end of the season, but he's going to have chronic elbow problems, and he felt as though reducing the use of his slider would help his elbow. And Strasburg, who had the flexor strain in his elbow, feels the same way. They both are throwing it, they're just not throwing it as much. And I don't know if there's validity to that or not, Ronnie.
No, there is. There is. I spent some time trying to throw a slider, and I just could not. It just hurt my elbow too much. That's why I went straight to the curveball, split finger, fastball. Those are my 3 pitches. Now, I'd throw a cutter every once in a while when it was a totally left-handed leaning lineup. But it does put a lot of stress on that, especially they're throwing at 90 miles an hour.
First time Strasburg's been behind all night. 2-0 on Cabrera.
Strasburg paying a lot of attention to Reyes. I don't think it's a bad thing if Reyes takes off just like that.
So you can rev it up.
Good pitchers, you got to do extraordinary things. Steal bases, push the envelope.
Jose has stolen 10 this year. He's been caught only once. And a closer play.
Seen Jose picked off a couple of times this year, and even in the last series in Philadelphia, Jeremy Hellickson off second base.
Yeah, that was a little embarrassing. He's running. The throw by Wieters, and Reyes slides through the bag, and he's out. Wieters put it on the money. Sanchez made the tag, getting over. Reyes thrown out trying to steal for just the 2nd time this season. A terrific throw to gun down Jose Reyes to end that top of the third.
Well, he got a good pitch to throw, a ball up in the strike zone, but great mechanics and a perfect strike. Nothing Jose could do there. You know, give credit to Strasburg, though. He threw over there, what, 3-4 times to keep Reyes close.
Second time through the batting order for Steven Matz. Brian Goodwin takes a strike. Goodwin had a base hit to center field to lead off the first inning. Nats got 2 men on before Matz could retire a batter in the first, but he worked his way through it. Then they got a couple of 2-out base runners in the second after plays not made on the infield, and again Steven was able to get through it. 37 pitches in the first 2 innings as a result, more than he'd like. Bounces the breaking ball to Goodwin, and it's 1-2.
So I'll take it back. That 2-0 pitch to Harper that I thought might have been a cutter, I saw the 0-1 pitch to Goodwin was the same mile an hour. It was a changeup at 86. So 2-0 changeup to Harper in the first.
Bouncing ball. Reyes gets a nice easy hop and throws out Goodwin, one away. 85's a little firmer than Matz's normal changeup. Usually he's in the 82-83 range. So 1 out and nobody on. Now Michael Taylor, who walked on a 3-2 pitch his first time up. It's something he does not do a lot of. Taylor's a high strikeout, low walk hitter. Just a .319 on base percentage, despite otherwise having a terrific offensive year. Here's the curveball, and Matz gets ahead 0-2.
I'm always interested to see the choice of pitcher out there when he's got the count 0-2 to a guy who's got some power. Like it. You're going to see more of that in the second half, folks. Pitchers are going to start to pitch up and into the hitters, because if they don't, they're going to get creamed like they did in the first half.
And the fastball gets him looking as Matz paints the inside corner for his second strikeout of the night.
Victimized by the home run ball in Los Angeles and the 5 walks, but best start since he came off the disabled list was against the Marlins in his last one.
Well, he had back-to-back starts. The Nats before the Dodgers. So Washington and LA gave up a combined 5 home runs in those 2 starts, which he had never done before. But bounced back with that great start against the Marlins and off to a good beginning here. He got Harper looking his first time up. And Bryce goes after a first pitch changeup, 0-1.
Started the last 2 hitters, Taylor and Harper, with the first pitch changeup.
Harper won the MVP 2 years ago, slumped last year, having a more MVP-ish season. 3rd in the league in on base percentage, 4th in slugging percentage. And that one just missed, 2-1.
Well, first pitch changeup, 2-0 first at bat changeup. Let's see what he chooses here behind in the count. Sign from d'Arnaud is fastball away.
And Harper hits it back into the screen, 2-2. Matz is throwing hard tonight. His average fastball velocity through his first 4 starts was just under 93, and we've seen a lot of 95s and 96s early in this game.
He's going to get more and more confidence as he makes starts without health issues.
Two to Harper. And the curveball pulled through the hole, a base hit. Mets did not shift against Harper. If you play a full shift against him, that's probably an out. But against a conventional defense, it found the hole for a 2-out hit.
I don't know if fans remember, I know Gary you do, in the last series at Citi Field, Harper hit so many balls to left field and to the right of the shortstop that maybe that has changed how they defend him. Just a ground ball. This is an old-fashioned hit that we used to see all the time, right?
A hit that left-hand hitters don't get very often anymore. Certainly not left-handed pull hitters. Probably a little different shift with a lefty on the mound. Ball one to Zimmerman. Zimmerman bounced into an inning-ending double play in the first. He's now 0 for 7 in his career against Mats.
Gotta be careful though. He just missed the curveball in the first at bat. Good off-speed hitter, Zimmerman.
Here's a slider. There's the Porsche leaderboard. Murphy and Zimmerman second and third in the National League in batting, trailing only Buster Posey. Drive toward the gap in right center. Back goes Bruce to the track. He runs it down. Like it was nothing, Jay Bruce puts it in his hip pocket to get Mats through the third. Zimmerman driving one to right center. We've seen that quite a bit. But Bruce equal to the task. Is a McDonald's Family Sunday. The Mets take on the Rockies at 1:10. The first 15,000 fans in attendance will receive a Mets mini bat presented by Papa John's. Plus, all kids 12 and under can run the bases after the game in the Mr. Met Dash, courtesy of Northwell Health. For tickets, visit Mets.com/Family Sundays. As Dribble Cabrera was at the plate when Jose Reyes was caught stealing to end the top of the third, so he gets a fresh at bat in the fourth. In a scoreless game, Cabrera struck out his first time up, and he flies one foul, and quickly it's 0-2.
You know, I was thinking is a little remarkable, Gary. The way the Mets season has gone, it's so interesting to see no runs into the fourth inning. You know, either they or the opposition have scored runs early in games.
First inning in particular. Mets have given up the most runs and scored nearly the most runs in the first. Cabrera, then Cespedes and Bruce for the Mets. Second time through against Strasburg, who has struck out 4 and not walked a batter through the first 3 innings, giving up just 2 hits. Cabrera took an 0 for yesterday, but his numbers since coming off the disabled list have been terrific. This is now 10 games since he's come back. And despite his protestations when he arrived in San Francisco about not being pleased with a position change, it certainly has not affected his play.
He didn't mope or salt, did he?
Well, he made his feelings known publicly, probably when he shouldn't, and then it was put behind him, apparently. 2-2 coming, and it's popped up in foul ground. That'll go out of play. I mean, his teammates were not happy with him.
No.
And they made that very clear to him, but then they moved on.
Listen, Cabby's a good guy. Well, we've seen him around enough. We know he plays hurt. We know he's a good guy. He was hot, and he expressed that anger with the reporters. I'm sure he would tell you, boy, what a mistake that was. I shouldn't have done it. He did, but you know what? Came out and played.
Just missed. Changeup from Strasburg, 3-2. Mets have had some good at bats again against Strasburg, despite the fact that he's got his good stuff tonight. Trying to run up his pitch count a little bit, which they did the last time they faced him. This will be the 8th pitch of the at bat to Cabrera, leading off in the 4th. And his dribble takes ball 4. 3-2 curveball from Strasburg, and that's his first walk of the night. He's thrown a lot of curves early in this game.
Yeah, he really has, and it's been very effective in the beginning of this game, despite the walk there. He's been able to throw it first strike, back door. That's 2 right there to Nimmo. He struck out Nimmo on the 3rd one, right there, all taken. So this came from the last half inning. It showed how sharp his breaking ball was. Not as sharp there against Cabrera.
So the Mets have the leadoff man on for the first time, and now Cespedes, who dribbled up the third baseline for an infield hit his first time up. And Strasburg held the pose, thought he was going to get the call from Paul Nart, and did not. Ball 1. So with that infield hit, Cespedes is now 8 for 13 against Steven Strasburg. It's a .615 batting average. Popped it up. Zimmerman retreating and calling. And that's the first out.
It was interesting on that pitch, Gary. I don't know if we can go back to it, guys, but it's almost like Cespedes wasn't ready when the pitch came. Kind of quick pitched him, although you can't with a guy in first. Watch how the ball gets in on him. He just didn't seem ready to go when the pitch was thrown by Strasburg.
Right, there's been something significantly off with Cespedes over this last week or so, and you know, we've seen him go through cold streaks before, but I'm not sure we've ever seen him look as lost as he does right now.
He always hits from such a firm foundation, so when he's off balance, to me, that represents something seriously wrong.
Jay Bruce takes a strike. And it's going to be hard for the Mets to make the move that they are going to need to make to have any hope of being in contention later this season if Cespedes doesn't get it going soon. His offense is built around him, and they missed him for the 6-7 weeks he was away. Bruce flies one to shallow left, and Goodwin angles in. And that's the second out. So after the leadoff walk, Strasburg in short order takes care of Cespedes and Bruce.
Both on inside fastballs as we look at the NL East.
Well, the Braves have played better than anybody could have anticipated. They've now won 11 of their last 15 to get within a game of 500.
And they're about to get Freddie Freeman back, right?
Just started his rehab assignment Saturday, playing third base.
Adams hurt himself, though, didn't he?
I think he's okay.
Okay.
How about Kurt Suzuki going back to Oakland, hitting 2 home runs yesterday? With T.J. Rivera breaking ball out of the strike zone. Cabrera breaks for second, and Zimmerman holds on to the ball. I thought Zimmerman had a play.
Well, Cabrera got caught in no man's land. And what happened is that Zimmerman was going to, once he caught it, reach down and make the tag at first base. He didn't realize Cabrera had gone on to second. breaking ball away. Cabrera thought maybe it was going to get past Wieters. That's why he took the extra step. And Zimmerman went for the tag, and by that time Cabrera was at second base.
We'll square that a wild pitch. So the Mets have a runner in scoring position for the first time tonight. And TJ takes a curveball for a strike, 1-1.
Watch, he anticipated the ball was going to be in the dirt, maybe taking the extra base, so he gets stuck. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say, at this point in his career, Ryan Zimmerman doesn't like to throw the ball around the diamond either.
And Rivera goes down to a knee, trying to chase that pitch.
When I saw it up here, Zimmerman looked like he was going to make the tag. Am I right? No. He's just maybe the one bounce got him all out of sorts.
Maybe felt he didn't have a good angle to throw.
Or play, even.
Well, I think he had time.
Yeah.
But as you say, I'm not sure how much confidence he has in his arm. 1-2 to Rivera. And the fastball high. TJ was robbed of a hit. Anthony Rendon went behind the bag at third, and from the outfield grass threw him out his first time up. Lucas Duda would be next. Two coming, and again it's too high. 3-2.
You know, sometimes I would say when you're locked in a 0-0 duel, you might be less aggressive with a base open, but you're going to be aggressive here against Rivera because you got a home run hitter up next.
Second full count of the inning for Strasburg. He walked Cabrera on a 3-2 pitch to start the inning. And TJ takes inside, ball 4. So 2 walks in the inning for Strasburg, and Duda will come up with 2 men on.
I was wrong. He went to the changeup. He didn't challenge Rivera. Remarkable to me to not challenge him and now have to face Lucas Duda.
Well, perhaps the fact that Duda is 2 for 17 against Strasburg has something to do with it.
I mean, Rivera is a base. You know, he's the guy that can hit line drives, but this guy could ruin your night, despite the bad numbers.
So 2 on and 2 out for Duda. Lucas popped to short his first time up on the first pitch he saw. And this time he lays off the first pitch changeup, ball 1. Strasburg has been up quite a bit in this inning. This will be his 20th pitch of this 4th inning. And another changeup, and Wieters is going to run the ball back out to him. It's 2-0 to Duda.
I'm surprised Mike Maddox is not coming out. Strasburg is really falling towards the first base side. That's why he's missing changeup away off the plate and fastball up in the strike zone. He's not keeping that front shoulder tucked. That is the most basic thing for any pitcher or hitter when you think about it.
We've seen it with Jacob deGrom this year. It's a matter of how quickly you can self-correct, I guess. Duda with a 2-0 advantage after a couple of changeups. He gets the fastball and it's in tight. Now it's 3-0. Well, Duda is not a guy who generally likes to swing 3-0, but I would say if you're ever going to do it, this would be the right time.
He should become one tonight, today, now.
Sure, he has the green light. And he takes ball 4. 3 walks in the inning have loaded up the bases. And now Mike Maddox will take a stroll out to the mound. A 4-pitch walk to Duda loads him up for d'Arnaud.
Well, Maddox likes to come out, and he's part mechanics with a pitcher. He also is really good at kind of psychoanalyzing where his pitcher's at within a ball game and trying to gauge where he's at right now. With the head shake from Strasburg, it's almost like, hey, I'm all right. I'm good.
Mike Maddox, who pitched a little bit for the Mets in the mid-90s.
Oh, he did. I didn't know that.
Has become a real top quality pitching coach.
He has.
good pitching bloodlines in that family.
Well, I'm sure his brother could be a good one too. He just would not want to be one.
He made a lot more money.
Exactly.
So here's Darno, bases loaded, 2 out. Travis took a call, third strike, his first time up. Cabrera at third, Rivera at second, Duda at first, and a first pitch curveball out of the strike zone, ball 1. So the plate really eluding Steven Strasburg right now. Strasburg averages 2.5 walks per 9 innings. He's walked 3 in this inning alone. And Travis takes a curveball for a strike, 1-1.
Still didn't get in.
It's almost like he's not trusting his fastball right now.
It's almost like he's trying to strike out the world, Gary. That's what it looks like to me. Not pitching to contact.
1-1. And Travis swings at another curveball. 3 straight curves from Strasburg, and it's ahead 1-2.
Well, this should let you know when he gets in trouble where he wants to go.
Big crowd in Washington trying to urge him through.
He threw a fastball in last at bat to Darno.
And Travis able to foul off the heater.
You're right about Darno. He likes sitting here. He takes good swings.
It's great hitters background here. Nationals like hitting here too.
Yeah, they do. Sometimes there's no reason. You just feel comfortable in certain ballparks.
1-2 coming. In the dirt, stopped by Wieters. And now it's 2-2. Brandon Nimmo would be next. Strasburg 27 pitches deep in this inning. 3 walks have loaded the bases to Cabrera, Rivera, and Duda. 2-2 to Darno. And Travis foul tips it and just got a piece to stay alive.
That was nasty too. That's a good foul tip by Darno. Right on the corner. Just got it off the end of the bat.
And then did some housekeeping too.
But you keep doing that because you're hoping for one mistake from Strasburg.
Well, if he gets a curveball in the middle of the plate, he knows what to do with it. And dribbles that curveball foul. So another long turn at bat. It's been a stressful inning for Strasburg from the beginning.
I mean, here's a guy who throws 95 to 97 and when in trouble has relied really on one pitch. The fastball in is the pitch to throw after all these curveballs away, but it doesn't seem like he wants that pitch.
This would be the 8th pitch of the at bat to Darno. And he fouls back to fastball, got it up to 98. That's the hardest pitch he's thrown all night. But not enough to take care of Travis. Again, the 2-2. And Darno takes strike 3 called. 97 got him looking. And Strasburg, after 31 agonizing pitches in the inning, finds his way through trouble in the top of the 4th. Mets strand 3. Darno caught looking. Still no score in D.C. The division has been fairly lopsided so far. The Nats have won 7 of 10 from the Mets, including 6 of 7 at Citi Field. Mets starters have struggled. Mets bullpen has struggled even more against the Washington Nationals. Anthony Rendon leads off the 4th and takes a slider for a strike from Steven Matz. Rendon flied out to the warning track in right field his first time up. Matz has thrown 3 scoreless innings, has given up 3 singles, walked 1, struck out 2. Had a long time in the dugout while Strasburg stressed his way through the top of the inning. And Rendon hooks 1 foul, and it's up 0-2. Last time the Mets were here, the last game of the series, Rendon and the Nats had a game for the ages. Rendon went 6 for 6 with 3 home runs and 10 RBIs. These games happen once a millennium.
Well, what I think is so funny is when we came back to Citi Field, we showed that game, and I didn't realize that one of his doubles off the right center field wall was within 3 feet of being a 4th home run.
Line into center field, and Rendon has a base hit. That one a curveball from Matz, and picks up the 4th Washington hit. And the Nats have the leadoff man on the home 4th.
Well, 2 guys I always think that have been in the league for a while that have a chance to win a batting title who haven't. Rendon for the Nationals. He's a hands hitter, natural hitter. You don't see a lot of guys have that kind of swing. And Freddie Freeman for the Braves. So 2 guys I think that could be a batting champion some year.
Here's Matt Wieters, who flied out to center on the first pitch he saw in the 2nd, and he swings at the first one this time and fouls it away. Rendon will sneak the odd stolen base. He's got 4 this year, and the Nats have shown they like to run against Matz. Dial up the counter. Spectrum high-speed pitch.
Always waiting for the coins to drop whenever I hear this Spectrum ad.
Well, if the music keeps going, then the coins drop. When the music stops, you're out of luck. Grounded slowly. Reyes to Cabrera. Time to turn 2, and they turn it over. With the slow-footed Wieters going down the line, the Mets turn their 2nd infield double play of the night. 2 out and nobody on.
Well, the first one was 5-4-3. This one, they knew they had plenty of time. Watch Cabrera take his time, make a hard, accurate throw, because he knew who the base runner was.
It's interesting, isn't it, these days, watching second basemen stand there with impunity, knowing nothing can really happen to them. There's Wilmer Defoe, who had an infield hit his first time, and he chases the changeup, 0-1.
I'm thinking Daniel Murphy would have loved that role early in his career. Didn't he suffer 2 knee injuries at second base trying to turn double plays?
One of them in the minor leagues.
Yep. Cabrera just uses the bag as protection. So Rendon, when he gets down, he can only get to the bag. So Cabrera is 2 feet behind it. That was a good move by the camera person on third base dugout. Got out of the way and shielded just in time to almost get our man Gelbsy down there.
I think Gelbs was right in the neighborhood. He had to execute evasive action.
Well, he loves hockey. He's got to know how to do that kind of stuff.
You evaded the check there, my friend.
Guys, I moved out of the way, but I heard the bounce on the back wall behind me. Was prepared to get it right in the square of the back. Just missed though.
It's hard to catch a ball with that microphone. Matz has walked 1. He struck out 2. 3-2 to Defoe. And he goes to the changeup on 3-2 against Wilmer Defoe. and walks him. That's a hard one to explain.
198 coming into this game batting average. Batting average from the right side 133. That's a pitch that you just can't make. Can't.
I ask this all the time.
Yeah.
You got a catcher back there sending out signs. Why would you call for anything but a fastball?
Well, we don't know that. He might have called fastball and he might have shook him off to the changeup. So we don't know that. But you just can't call that pitch. It's not allowed by the rules.
But you and I have both seen catchers in that situation. Put down a fastball. Pitcher shakes, put down the fastball again.
That's right. That's right. Well, I mean, maybe, you know, d'Arnaud doesn't feel like he has the gravitas to be able to do that, but you have to.
Adrian Sanchez reached on there his first time up in his first major league start.
Maybe I should explain to the folks. The reason I say you can't throw a changeup on a 3-2 pitch to a guy batting 133 from the right side, who else would you challenge in the lineup than that guy?
I mean, it's 2 out and nobody on. Unless he hits the ball out of the ballpark, he can't hurt you, and the likelihood of Wilmer Defoe hitting out of the ballpark is extraordinarily small.
Johnny High School throws a fastball in that situation. It's kind of how the game works.
I have to say, by the way, Johnny High School is such a Keithian formulation.
I know, it's rubbing off on me, I guess. I don't know where that came from. Sorry about that. I wasn't saying that it was a high school move. It's just that that's what you have to do in that situation. I don't know why it came out. Apologize.
Maybe you were channeling David Cohen talking about Jay Howell.
I don't know. I've had a lot to apologize lately.
Runner goes. The throw to second is in time for the out. Defoe tried to steal second, and d'Arnaud guns him down, and we'll wait to see if the Nats decide to challenge the call.
That was a great tag by Cabrera. Quick. I think the hand got in there before the tag. Left hand on the base, then the tag.
But he also came off the bag afterward.
Let's see if he stayed with him. No, he didn't stay with him.
No,
okay.
Cabrera didn't stay with him because he did come off the bag, but Cabrera did not continue to apply the tag, and the Nats are challenging the call.
Watch it. It's a pretty easy call to make. His left hand gets in there, touches, and then the swipe gets him on the forearm once the hand's on the bag.
It's close, though.
Yeah, it's close.
And the heel, he doesn't get the fingers on. He gets the heel of the hand as the swipe goes on the forearm.
This will be changed, though. But great throw by d'Arnaud. Great sweep tag, quick tag by Cabrera. Defoe just had too big of a jump. I mean, this is the.
Well, here's the play in real time.
I'm saying an easy call now that they're looking at replay. This is real time now. This is why it's hard to be an umpire.
And you've got a rookie umpire at second base, John Libka, who we're seeing for the first time. He made the call. That's him on the left, and the crew chief Dana DeMuth on the right. Ted Barrett and Brian Gorman have their crews in the replay center in Chelsea this week.
I mean, bang, bang. So very difficult play for umpire Libka to make that call.
I mean, if there's no call on the field that you need clear and convincing evidence to overturn, you'd say he's safe.
Yeah. Whenever I see the headset on a crew chief who's had a lot of years in the major leagues, and then a guy that does not have a lot of experience, I feel like the crew chief is like, okay, whenever, just give me the call. And the guy who doesn't have a lot of experience is saying, come on, back me up.
Yeah, he's sweating a little bit.
Come on, let's go.
We don't know. This could be the first call that he's had challenged in the big leagues. Play under review brought to you by Mazda. Driving matters. Well, this is the third time now in about a week that we've gone past the 2-minute guideline that Major League Baseball instilled this year, and they do overturn the call. So Defoe is Safe at second with his second stolen base of the year.
You know, in defense, because I was wrong on how I chose my words. In defense of the umpire Libka, I mean, we showed it 5, 6, 7 times. We saw how close it was. Very difficult. We had the benefit of seeing it in slow motion.
2-2 the count to Sanchez, with Defoe now in scoring position with 2 out. And it's fouled away. Well, d'Arnaud's throwing certainly has picked up as the season's gone long.
It has. That's a good example of a perfect toss. But you know, if you get up and your pop time's good and it's a perfect toss, you still don't get them. It's on the pitcher.
Well, Matz has a big out to get here against a rookie who's looking for his first big league hit. 2-2 coming. In the air to center field. Nimmo back a couple of strides is there. And that retires the side. A leadoff hit. Erased on a double play. A walk and a stolen base. And Matz gets past that too. No score after 4. Memorials, the World War II memorial on the mall. Definitely worth checking out. A lot of history there. See all the hot moments from some of the top high school ballers as SNY and Overtime team up to bring you the best New York City hoops highlights all summer long. Check it out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Well, neither pitcher has been spotless, but it's a scoreless game as we go to the 5th. Strasburg has had to throw 77 pitches and Matt's 72, so it's unlikely either one's going to get that deep into this game, but they have kept the opposition off the board. Brandon Nimmo leads off the 5th. This one deep to center, but playable for Taylor, and he gets back to grab it. One pitch and one long out. Taylor turning his back and finding that ball.
Isn't it interesting that when Nimmo takes at bats as a pinch hitter, he takes a lot of pitches, gets deeper in the count, and as a starting player, he's much more aggressive.
So Strasburg, who threw 31 pitches in the 4th inning and can use a fast 5th, gets a first pitch out. And now Steven Matz takes a strike. Matz grounded out to 3rd his first time up. It's loaded the bases on 3 walks in that 4th inning, but Strasburg got d'Arnaud looking to get out of it. Curveball off the plate, 1-1. Strasburg in the first year of a 7-year, $175 million contract extension. He's 28 years old, so it'll take him to his age 34 season. Grounded off the back of the mound, flattens out for Sanchez, and he throws out the hustling Mats 2 away. Here's your Verizon trivia question, or is it the Newlywed Game? Who were the first 2 players to be elected to the National League All-Star team as Nationals? First 2 players. So 2005 was the first year. You should know this. You were here.
Well, the first, maybe they had 2 players in the first year.
Could be.
Yeah.
Well, they had the great first half.
Yes, they did.
The closer, Cordero.
That's a good.
He was amazing that first half.
That was a good call. That's a good call, Gary. I think he's one of them.
And it's also Reyes and Brad Wilkerson. Was he?
He had a really good year.
2005, right?
I think the only other guys you maybe think on that team, and he was a great player with the franchise, was Jose Vidro. Had some good years.
How about was Levon here then?
Levon,
right? Didn't he have a fast start? And I mean, the Nats were like. Didn't they have some incredible record in 1-run games the first half of the year?
They did. They were 26 and something, but they started the year 51-30 and ended at 30-51.
But the first half is all that matters when you're picking all-stars. Reyes pops one up into shallow left center. Sanchez going out. Goodwin coming in to call. And it's a quick inning for Strasburg. Exactly what he needed. A 7-pitch inning. We're halfway through. Still no score. Fence moving away from the ballpark is Half Street, which is where the Metro stops, and fans come streaming down Half Street to the ballpark. And when they get there to that plaza, the field is below that, about 24 feet below street level. So most of the fans don't have to go up escalators to get to their seats. They go down to get to their seats. Nationals Park.
I like this ballpark. I mean, I know you love it this high. I wish I was a little lower personally, because I don't see as well as I did 12 years ago when we started this job. But I do like this ballpark.
Strasburg flied out his first time up, and it's a comebacker to Mats. And Steven takes care of that. Duda finds the bag, and that's the first out. What did they play 3 years at RFK?
They did. I remember the first year when I was there, it was almost sold out every night. And there's 2 things I remember. One is because the stadium was a little bit like Shea Stadium. They had those, they weren't permanent seats, the ones that you could drag out for football games, and people would bounce on them and the entire stadium would bounce. And 2, had no way of getting home on the Metro every night because it was, I mean, packed. It would take forever.
That's how you met Carl.
That's what I think. That's right. My man.
Here's Brian Goodwin up for the third time, and he takes a strike. Now, of course, the Nationals were the late lamented Montreal Expos, who played their last ever game at Shea Stadium in 2004, and then moved here to D.C. And for a long time, they did not acknowledge the Expos as part of their history here, and I'm really happy that more and more they have begun to acknowledge that it's the same franchise.
Well, they should embrace it this year, especially because they have one of their own going into the Hall of Fame.
And of course is Tim Raines. Even though he never played for the Nationals, it's still the same franchise. That's pulled down the line by Goodwin, a foul ball, 2-2.
I was just thinking, you know, they have, like all ballparks, they have so many. There's a Expos hat. I've got one of those.
Except it's missing one of the colors.
It is.
And the tricolor is only a deux couleur.
I would think that this weekend would tell you that the uniforms have changed a little, Perry.
Yeah, it would seem.
I think you know, they have great food at every new ballpark now. Wouldn't a smoked meat shack work well here?
I'm not a big smoked meat fan.
I know, but it's an Expo tradition.
Yeah. You know what smoked meat is? It's
pastrami.
Fake pastrami.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is.
Well, you know, this is a New Yorker now talking about fake pastrami. You know,
right.
you know, he used to go into Cats.
So what you're saying is, if you're in Washington, the best you're going to get anyway is fake pastrami.
You're not going to get the Cats, so you might as well get it here.
3-2 to Goodwin, and he struck him out. Foul tip held by d'Arnaud for the second out. Just the third strikeout of the night for Matz. His strikeout rate is down so far this year, but results have been terrific.
You know, I'm happy with that, to tell you the truth, because it's almost like he has a different kind of attitude on how he wants to get people out. He wants to pitch to contact. That's reduced his pitch count for most of his starts.
Now Michael Taylor has walked and struck out, and he takes a curveball for a strike. Steven 15-9 through his first 32 starts. I was shocked today to read that Steven became the second fastest Met to get to 15 wins. Only Doc Gooden got there faster in his 28th game. Matt's got to 15 wins faster than Tom Seaver.
Wow.
How can that be?
Well,
Seaver won 16 games his rookie year, but obviously had more than 32 starts.
Yeah, and he also got to 15 wins in like 37 minutes. Seaver.
Right.
It's taken Steven a little longer, but
well, those 32 starts stretched out over 3 seasons. Taylor drives one to center field, and Nimmo is there. And Max has himself a 1-2-3 bottom of the 5th. So this pitcher's duel continues. Strasburg and Max through 5. What kind of flavor of ice cream you want? No score. Sixth inning in D.C. Mets and Nats no score. As Dribble Cabrera leads off against Steven Strasburg. Cabrera drew the leadoff walk in the fourth inning that gave the Mets their best threat. Strasburg walked 3 in that fourth inning. Was able to get through it. Then he had a 7-pitch fifth. And now faces 2, 3, and 4 in the order. Cabrera, Cespedes, and Bruce in the sixth. And changeup fouled off, a ball and a strike. What is it with hitters who smell the bat after a foul ball?
What happens if it hits the bat correctly? Not correctly. How do I say this? If it skims the bat correctly, it'll smell like fire. Like, you know, when you start a fire with kindling and you have that initial smell of smoke, that's what it'll smell like. That's why they smell the bat.
But why?
Well,
popped it up, shallow center. Taylor got a late start, but he'll have plenty of time to get in there. 1 out. Let's check in with Larry Ridley in the studio for a game break brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. Thanks, Larry. Jeff Locke having a rough go of it again, as he did against the Mets last week. So here's Cespedes, who had an infield single in the first, then fouled out in the fourth. Just 5 hits in his last 32 at bats, and trying to find his way out of the woods. And leaning out of the way, takes the changeup for a strike. Some of the particulars on Cespedes. Throwing a Gold Glove a couple of years ago. Curveball off the plate, 1-1.
he got that Gold Glove for his work in Detroit, and then traded it to the Mets, right?
Yes.
Okay.
He was a 4-month Gold Glover.
Okay. You got to be really good to only get a Gold Glove for 4 months.
Well, he got a Gold Glove for left field, and then when he came to the Mets, he played mostly center field the rest of that season. Jay Bruce on deck, but he is a permanent left fielder now. There's no thought given at all to moving him back to center, even with the injuries to Lagares and Granderson and Conforto. High fly ball left center field. He got under it, and Taylor waits for it, and there are 2 out.
I was just watching his reaction, Cespedes. I mean, that pitch right there when he's hot is 450 feet. And, you know, when you're in a bad streak, you miss those pitches. Watch his reaction. Like, you got to be kidding me.
But even with that, Ronnie, it's one of the best swings he's had in a week.
That's right.
So maybe that's a good sign. 6 in a row retired by Strasburg, and now Bruce, who's 0 for 2 today. And Jay is in a slump of his own, 0 for his last 13 now. He went around on the half swing on the changeup, 0-2. Mets box score. Brought to you by Volkswagen. Not much to show. Infield single by Cespedes in the first. Single to center by Reyes in the third. And that's it. And Bruce goes down on the changeup to end the inning. 6 strikeouts for Strasburg, who all of a sudden has retired 7 in a row. We've got quite a pitcher's duel going in D.C. Now it's Max's turn to go back to the mound for the bottom of the 6th. we made it to the All-Star break on the road ahead. It beckons. All-Star break starts after Sunday's game in St. Louis. All-Star game a week from tomorrow in Miami. Mets are home after the break. And you get 10 points as Bryce Harper leads off the home sixth if you can name the 3 opponents for the Mets on their homestand after the All-Star break.
Okay, I haven't looked. I know the Rockies are the first one.
Right.
I know the Oakland A's are involved at some point.
They are the 3rd team.
Are the Cardinals coming back?
They are. Bing, bing, bing. That's a 10-pointer there for Mr. Darling.
Very happy.
Good job. See, Oakland, that was supposed to be the hard one.
The only reason I know that is because you and I were talking the other day that we had to get up to snuff on Oakland athletics.
They've made a lot of changes recently. And maybe more before we see him. And now Matt's behind on Harper, 3-0 to start the bottom of the 6th. Harper had a base hit through the hole into right. And again, the Mets not shifting against Harper. And he is fully inclined to be swinging 3-0 here with Zimmerman and Rendon to follow. But he takes a strike, 3-1. The A's sent Yonder Alonso to the All-Star game, which is great because he's from Miami.
That's right. Didn't he go to the University of Miami also?
He did.
It's great for his family and himself, of course.
3-1 from Matz to Harper, and he pops one up. T.J. Rivera into foul territory. One big out for Matz after falling behind on Harper, 3-0.
You know, sometimes there's a point in the game where you just have to challenge even the best of hitters, and Steven gets a pop-up from it.
He's going to blink. Strasburg has settled in nicely after that rough 4th inning, and he's at 94 pitches through 6. That's at 90 pitches with 1 out in the 6th. Here's Zimmerman, who's grounded into a double play and then hit one to right center that Bruce ran down in the gap. And Matz misses high, ball 1.
Yeah, Zimmerman and Rendon have had the best at bats against Matz in this game.
And again, Steven falls behind.
And I say that Zimmerman hit into a double play, his first at bat, but just missed the curve. Second at bat, hit that curveball in the nose on that play that you said went to right field that Bruce made a fine play on.
And he gets a strike with the slider, 2-1. And Steven's thrown a few more sliders today after throwing 3 or 4 of them in his last start against Miami. Didn't throw any in his first 3 starts. And fastball fouled off, kept it away from Zimmerman, 2-2. We talk about this all the time with Zimmerman. He's so far from the plate. Your temptation is just to work him away.
Well, if your knees and away, you're in good shape. But if you get that ball elevated and it's even on the plate away, he's got great extension to right field and right center.
The original National, their first ever draft pick, straight out of the University of Virginia to the big leagues during that 2005 season.
In fact, when they drafted him, he said he wanted to sign right away, get down to professional ball because he wanted to be in the big leagues his first year. He made it.
And didn't they play him so much shortstop that first year?
He did, but he made a couple errors in the first time he put him out there, so they moved him right back to third.
They had Christian Guzman at short that year.
Christian Guzman, Jose Vidro. Remember who was playing first base. Frank Robinson, the manager.
Two from Matz to Zimmerman, and he rolls one to the right side. Cabrera throws him out, 2 away, and Matz has retired 6 in a row. Steven with a V, Steven with a PH. All zeros between them. No action in either bullpen. Matz threw 110 pitches in his last start in Miami, and he's going on regular rest tonight.
All the pitchers will be on regular rest now, right through to the All-Star break.
Well, they do have an off day Thursday.
Oh, they do. Oh, that's right.
There's Rendon. He throws a fastball by him. They have pushed Steven with his pitch counts. And bounces that curveball in there. 1-1.
Well, I'm glad they pushed him. You know, you're either healthy or not. If he's healthy, he's one of your best starters. You got to push him. They've tried keeping him on pitch counts. It didn't work.
On the corner, and it's 1-2 to Rendon.
What a good changeup that was. Maybe the best on the night.
Well, Steven missed so much time even before he threw his first professional pitch, and has missed so much time since he got to the big leagues. He gets Rendon looking with a fastball. Inning over. Fourth strikeout for Matz. 6 scoreless innings apiece for Strasburg and Matz. What a gem we've got going. Seventh inning, T.J. Rivera leads off against Steven Strasburg and takes a strike. T.J. has grounded out and drawn a walk 0 for 1. By the way, Galvi's hitting that home run after he and his wife just had a baby today.
Wow.
Most guys wouldn't be playing tonight. Galvis did hit a home run for the new baby. Good curveball by Strasburg. It's been his best weapon all night. 0-2. Strasburg has struck out 6. He's walked 3. He's approaching 100 pitches. Matz is at 100 pitches. And still neither bullpen has moved. 0-2. And Rivera lines one down the right field line. Bound. One of the few hard hit balls all night against Strasburg. People's United Bank brings you tonight's starters, and it has been a duel. Matz with his 6 scoreless innings tonight, now 16 consecutive scoreless innings. The last 3 against the Dodgers, the 7 against the Marlins, and the 6 tonight. TJ grounds one to short. Sanchez gobbles it up. 1 out. 8 in a row retired by Strasburg. Last man to reach was Lucas Duda, who walked in the 4th, and Duda will come to bat now with 1 out. Lucas takes a first pitch curveball for a strike.
Well, Strasburg doesn't have his changeup, so that's why he's gone to so many curveballs.
With one strike, they shift the infield further into pull mode. 3 infielders on the right side against Lucas. And he takes a big rip at a changeup, and it's 0-2.
That was a good one there. See Defoe out in the outfield. Sanchez to the right of second base, and Rendon the shortstop now.
In tight with a fastball. 97 from Strasburg. 1-2. Josh Edgen, first man to start throwing in the Mets bullpen, but throwing very lightly, which makes you believe that Matz is going to start the bottom of the 7th. One-two to Lucas. In the air to left field. Goodwin is there. 2 out. Strasburg's now retired 9 in a row. And now it's d'Arnaud, who had the best opportunity for the Mets in the 4th inning. Bases loaded, 2 out. A 9-pitch at bat before he took a call third strike from Strasburg. And the Mets haven't had another base runner since. The Mets had just 2 hits yesterday in their 7-1 loss to the Phillies. They have just 2 hits tonight. And d'Arnaud bounces one foul.
Only 3 hits against the starting pitching. 1 hit yesterday against Pivetta.
And Travis shoots that one foul, and it's 0-2. Strasburg struck out 13 in his last start against the Cubs in 7 innings. Only 6 strikeouts today. But better results. And d'Arnaud lifts one foul. Coming over is Harper into foul ground. Right up against the sidewall. He's got it. And the inning is over. 7 scoreless from Strasburg, who's retired the last 10. 7th inning stretch time. Harper had just enough room. No score. Fourth of July series in D.C. And the hitters have had nothing but frustration tonight. Steven Matz got an early trouble, got a big double play. Strasburg got a fine defensive play from Anthony Rendon. But it's been Matz and Strasburg center stage. No score as we go to the bottom of the 7th. And Matt Wieters leading off for the Nats against Matz, who's retired his last 7. Wieters has flied out and grounded into a double play, and he takes the changeup down. 2-0. Matz has been behind a lot of hitters tonight, but he's been able to find his way through. He's only walked 2, struck out 4, allowed 4 base hits, all singles. Wilmer Difo on deck, then Adrian Sanchez, 6, 7, and 8 in this somewhat depleted Nats batting order. Matt Grace up in the Nats bullpen. Jerry Blevins throwing in the Mets pen. Wieters takes a big rip at a fastball. It's 2-1. And that's been the issue. When Matz has fallen behind in the count, he's been able to make that 2-0 pitch. Now Adrian's going to start throwing again as well. So 2 lefties up in the Mets pen. Change up, flied out to right, and Bruce is right there waiting for it. Wieters retired, 1 out. Well, the outcome of the season series with these two has gone a long way toward deciding the division the last few years. Mets won the East in 15 and beat the Nats in the season series. It went the other way last year, and so far this year it's the Nats leading both the season series and the division. 8 in a row for Matz. Here's Wilmer Difo, who's been on base twice. He bluffs a bunt, takes a strike. Difo had an infield hit on a grounder to short that probably should have been scored an error in the 2nd. Then a walk, and he stole a base in the 4th. Difo playing second base with Daniel Murphy sitting tonight, but available to pinch hit. A ball and a strike to Difo. Nats up a 5-man bench, including the right-hand batting Ryan Rayburn.
They got a good bench. Rayburn and Adam Lind are their 2 big hitters on the bench.
We've got Lind and tonight Murphy and Stephen Drew from the left side. Difo takes a rip at a fastball, and it's 1-2. Mets up a 4-man bench, which is probably depleted to 3 with Curtis Granderson not available, and that gives them an all right-hand batting bench. Reynolds, Flores, and Rene Rivera. 1-2 coming, up and away. Tomorrow we start at 11 a.m. Not the pregame. The actual game is at 11 a.m. Pregame at 10:30 tomorrow for Game 2 of this series. Seth Lugo against Joe Ross. Not the earliest game in Mets history. They have discovered that the Mets played a doubleheader in Pittsburgh back in '69 that started at 10:30. Curveball popped up. Duda should have room as he backpedals, and that's the 2nd out. But 11's still pretty early.
I'm looking forward to it, to tell you the truth, because it's just so out of the ordinary. You know, I'm trying to plan my day around the 11 o'clock game, but we'll see.
Here's the key.
Yeah.
The key to the entire day is to have a big breakfast before you come to the ballpark.
Oh, is that the key?
You don't want to eat here.
Okay. Oh, gee.
Here's Adrian Sanchez. 0 for 2 in his first major league start. Strasburg is due up next. At the moment, there is nobody out on deck for the Nats, which is violation of the rules.
That's right.
Violation that has no penalty, by the way.
Well, the umpire should tell them to get someone on deck.
Difo goes after the changeup, and it's 1-1. Now they have a hitter on deck. That's Adam Lind. So they have a right-hand hitter on the bench, but they don't want to waste Rayburn. Fly ball out to right, and now it won't matter because Sanchez is retired on the fly ball to Bruce, and that ends the inning. 10 in a row retired by Steven Matz. What a night for him. 17 straight scoreless innings. No score here in D.C. Left-hander Matt Grace comes on to pitch for the Nats, so Steven Strasburg out after 7 brilliant innings.
Well, Matt Grace is one of those lefties in the bullpen, has done a pretty good job for this national team. He has never, I'm going to repeat this, never given up a home run in the major leagues. UCLA grad, played with Garrett Cole and others.
SNY play ball, and the New York Jets are looking to help local football leagues in need with grants, equipment donations, clinics, and special Jets experiences. Does your league need assistance? Apply today at sny.tv/playball. So Strasburg, 7 innings, no runs, 2 hits, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. Steven Matz appears to be done after 7 as well. No runs, 4 hits, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Brandon Nimmo leads off the 8th inning against Grace. Wilmer Flores out on deck to pinch hit. And Nimmo grounds one toward the hole. On the backhand, Sanchez, the long throw, not in time. Nimmo beats it out for an infield hit. Fine play by Sanchez, but Nimmo just a step too quick. And the Mets get the leadoff man on in the 8th inning.
Nice play by Sanchez. And watch Zimmerman try to cheat at first base, coming off kind of quick to try to get the call from the first base umpire. But it didn't matter with the speed of Nimmo.
So now, instead of Flores, Steven Matz is going to bat for himself in a bunting situation. And of course, Steven has the ability to swing the bat too.
And with the limited bench, it's a good move.
Steven has 2 sacrifices to go with his 2 hits this year. The Nats will look for the bunt. Rendon and Zimmerman set to charge. We'll say Reyes on deck.
You have to bunt the ball to Zimmerman, make him field it.
Showing bunt, but bunts it foul.
I mean, if you're bunting this situation, if you're Steven Matz, you got to think just anything down is going to work because Nimmo's got enough speed. A lot of times you're in this situation, you got a catcher on first, you got to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect here.
Again, selling out to the bunt, and this time he gets it down. Grace will have to go to first with it. He shot puts it and almost lost the play. Matz always runs hard, and he nearly beat it out as Grace showed an extreme reluctance to throw that ball hard to first.
He's got the you-know-whats too as far as throwing the ball to the bases. Look at that perfect form, just pinching that bat with his right forefinger and thumb. And Grace just hadn't been watching the game, realizing that Matz runs everything out.
So 1-4 on the sacrifice, and the Mets have the tie-breaking run at second. So Matz's work is now officially done for the night. And here's Reyes, or unofficially, I guess he's still in the game, technically. Jerry Blevins up in the Mets bullpen. Here's Reyes, who's 1 for 3. Mets only have 3 hits tonight. Nimmo leading off this inning with an infield hit. Gets to second on the Mets sacrifice, and now the Mets with a couple of cracks at bringing him in. Matt Grace, one of 4 lefties in Dusty Baker's bullpen. They've got Sammy Solis recently back off the disabled list up now. And Reyes grounds one foul. Joe Blanton, the right-hander, also up in the Nats bullpen.
Well, they haven't known what they want to do. Grace has been up and down 5 different times this year.
Well, let's face it, their bullpen has been awful. The Mets haven't taken advantage of it, but I mean, the Nats have blown more late leads than any team in baseball. Otherwise, they'd have a huge lead in the East. Grounded toward the hole. Sanchez can't get it. Base hit. Nimmo being waved around third. Here comes Goodwin's throw to the plate on a hop, and he is out at the plate. Glenn Sherlock, the third base coach, was indecisive. Gave the late wave to Nimmo, and Goodwin threw a one-hop strike to the plate for the second out of the inning, and we'll wait to see if the Mets challenge the call.
Well, I don't know if it's not only going to be challenged on the play, but because Terry Collins is coming out, watch the play at the plate.
Could be an illegal block.
Yeah, he's going to ask if he had any place to slide. Did Wieters give him any room to slide into the plate? I think he did.
He clearly had the shin guard down and blocking part of the plate before he had the ball. Did he give him enough of the back of the plate to slide at to avoid a violation of the collision rule?
When I saw the play at first, I thought that Nimmo was out, but that was the way for Terry Collins and the Mets to try to replay that call. I mean, not even on third base when Sherlock sent him, but it was 0-0 game. He's all over that plate.
Yeah, it was very poor mechanics by Glenn Sherlock. He was not in the right place to wave Nimmo, and he made a very late call to send him. Give Nimmo credit. He tried his best.
Well, give Nimmo credit. Now, from this angle, Nimmo has that entire back of the plate to slide and tagged out easily.
And he made a bad slide. He didn't get that foot to the plate. Instead, he didn't get to the plate until he dragged that left leg across.
You know, give Nimmo credit because he was running hard, and that's why he never lost a step.
Right.
But I think he'll be out.
This is a crew chief review brought to you by Mazda. Driving matters. And safe. What did he say? He said he's out. So there's no violation. He gave a safe sign.
Well, he's saying there's no violation.
Very confusing.
Yeah, he's saying there's no violation.
All he had to do was say out. Yeah. But okay, so there's no violation. The out stands. Reyes went to second on the throw to the plate. So he's in scoring position with 2 out. And as Dribble Cabrera coming to the plate. The umpires have got to get their act together as far as how they signal these things. I mean, once you give a safe call, that discombobulates the entire thing.
The entire audience of 40,000 plus people here.
All right, so here we go. Cabrera at the plate with Reyes at second and 2 out. And Grace misses high for ball 1.
I have no problem with sending. Here's what we saw before. Yeah, there's no violation. He's out.
He's safe, but he's out. I mean, that's you got to do better than that.
I was saying I have no problem with Sherlock sending him because you know you got to take a chance on scoring, but the way he did it, was just a little late.
The mechanics were very poor, but you were right about Nimmo. He never broke stride, so it's not as though the late decision slowed him down.
No, it didn't affect Nimmo.
I think Glenn was just a little indecisive. Thought about the game situation, scoreless game, and then decided to send him and challenged Goodwin, and Goodwin made a terrific throw.
Well, everything in his gut tells you that Goodwin's got the ball too early, but it's a 0-0 game. How many chances are you going to get? So I don't mind the aggressive play. And yeah, he had enough area. Now that might have been the one time you slide real wide and try to reach back with your hand.
But you know what? If he had gotten his right foot down, he might have been safe. But that right foot kind of skittered off to the side, never got to the plate, and that gave Wieters plenty of time to tag him out.
Yeah, you want to like just jam your foot into that shin guard as quick as you can.
Well, now it's 3-0 to Cabrera. You got Cespedes standing on deck. And as Dribble takes a strike, if Cespedes comes up, you have to think they'll bring in the righty to face him.
All right, nice job by Goodwin. He's not known for having a great arm, but a perfect throw. It's what needed to get the runner at home. So again, I like the call in that way too.
3-1. And Cabrera takes ball 4, and the Mets have 2 men on, and now you can expect a pitching change, and here comes Dusty Baker. He's got Blanton ready in the bullpen to face Cespedes. And we'll get the pitching change. Scoreless game in the 8th. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon. Blanton coming in. We'll be right back to D.C. The Mets and the Nationals are scoreless, and the Mets have a 2-out scoring threat, and Joe Blanton coming in to try and get one key out.
Well, we saw him when he was at Citi Field. See the first batter faced? Whoa.
6 home runs in 22 games to the first batter faced.
Time for Cespedes to break out.
Cespedes just 1 for 11 in his career against Blanton, but the one was a home run. He's 1 for 3 tonight, an infield hit. He's popped up and flied out since then. Reyes, the tie-breaking run at second. Cabrera at first with 2 down. And Cespedes taking all the way. A fastball strike.
Well, you know you're going to get a slider from Blanton. That is his pitch he wants to get you out on.
Blanton now 36 years old, well traveled. And Cespedes with a good rip fouls back the fastball. 0-2.
Interesting. Blanton kind of changed his whole act there. Came in and threw 2 straight fastballs to get up in the count.
Well, he's likely to see the slider now. Oh-2. Fouled away. 3 fastballs in a row from Blanton. Well, during this cold streak, Cespedes has been very vulnerable to the fastball up. And Blanton may have been looking at the scouting report.
Just missed a changeup in his last at bat. We've always said what a good breaking ball hitter Cespedes is when he's locked in.
He lines that one sharply, but the shortstop Sanchez has it and gets the force to end the inning. And Cespedes hit that ball sharply, but right at the shortstop, and it's still a scoreless game in D.C. For SNY Mets game wherever you are and any device all season long with live streaming presented by Verizon. Just download the NBC Sports app or visit SNY.TV. Your home for live streaming coverage of every SNY Mets game. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Jerry Blevins comes on to pitch for the Mets after Steven Matz threw 7 scoreless.
Well, Jerry, a couple speed bumps the last 2 weeks or so. Huge at bat here with Murphy, going to be the pinch hitter.
This is an interesting call by Dusty Baker. He's got Ryan Rayburn, a right-hand pinch hitter, available, and Murphy does not have good numbers against Blevins, just 2 for 14 in his career. But he figures he'll take his shot with Murph here to pinch hit for the pitcher in the bottom of the 8th. Murph, who has strafed the Mets in a year and a half since leaving, gets the opportunity to get the Nats started in the home 8th. Those are his numbers against his old team. Named to the All-Star team yesterday. And facing Blevins here to start the bottom of the 8th. And Murph takes the first pitch curveball down for ball 1. Well, Matz was magnificent again. Second straight start. He threw 7 scoreless innings. 4 singles, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. 17 consecutive scoreless innings now for Matz, but he'll get a no decision tonight because Strasburg was just as good. And the curveball for a strike to Murphy, 1-1. Murph getting the night off tonight, mostly because the Nats got in so late last night. They played the Sunday night game in St. Louis.
Left-handed starter.
Yep. So if he was going to sit a game in this series, it figured to be tonight. Another curveball. That one misses. 2-1.
You know, Gary, we've seen Murphy get a lot of base hits down the first base line. Duda is hugging it.
Blevins has thrown him 3 curveballs in a row. Will he throw him anything but?
I don't think so.
And that one's line foul. 2-2.
It's really the issue for the left-handed hitter is not only to gauge the break on that curveball, but to stay back long enough because it just seems to never get there.
Murphy hitting .311 against lefties this year, .334 overall. Blevins has thrown him 4 curveballs in a row. 2-2 coming. Another curve, and that one's carved foul. Last year in these spots, Blevins was so different. He would throw a lot more fastballs. But this year the curve has gone back to being his weapon of choice.
He can try to spot one fastball away and come back with a 3-2 hook, but he's just bound and determined to stay with the number 2.
Murphy hits it past the mound. Reyes at the bag, throws him out, 1 away. So 1 big out for Blevins to start the bottom of the 8th.
Well, good defensive positioning. We're going to show you the pitch sequence. It's all the same pitch, but in different locations. First one down, second one for a strike. And then after that, it was a cat and mouse game. This one stayed inside. Murph hit that one hard, but a little too quick. Fouled the tough pitch off, and finally gets his ball up the middle with 2 strikes, but good defensive positioning from Reyes. Good pitching by Blevins. Tough at bat by the Murph.
And now Ryan Rayburn will be used as a pinch hitter to bat for Brian Goodwin to get a right-hand hitter up. So that was part of the strategy, I would guess, all along from Dusty Baker. I don't know. If I were going to use the 2 of them, wouldn't you have used Rayburn to lead off the inning and then go to Murph?
I would have. I guess this is the Rayburn because he'll go into play left, but still.
But if you were going to use them both to pinch it anyway. So now Rayburn, he takes a curveball outside for ball 1.
Rayburn was a good pickup. Detroit Tigers, started his career as an infielder, then moved to the outfield. He's got some good pop, especially at the right center field.
Well, he's been a guy who specializes in hitting the lefties, and Blevins falls behind him 2-0. Rayburn has a hit in his only career at bat against Blevins. Paul Sewald up in the Mets bullpen. Michael Taylor on deck. Bryce Harper behind him. Blevins behind Rayburn 2-0. And the curveball inside 3-0. Rayburn now 36 years old, spent last year in Colorado. And with Jason Worth down for a considerable amount of time, they brought Rayburn in to give them an extra righty bat in the outfield. .30 curve for a strike. On 3-1, Rayburn takes a fastball inside, ball 4. And the Nats have the tie-breaking run aboard. First base runner for the Nats since the 4th inning. Coming up tonight, Geico Sports Night at 10:30. Lots of NBA news. The Home Run Derby contestants announced. And I see it's going to be Justin Bour, not Stanton or Ozuna.
I mean,
for the hometown team.
Yeah.
Interesting. Here's Michael Taylor. With Rayburn at first and 1 out. Taylor's 0 for 2 and a walk tonight. Jerry misses low and away, ball 1.
You know, the only problem when you get stuck on throwing one pitch, which Jerry's done now in this inning, really just the curveball, is that sometimes you lose your fastball command.
So Sammy Solis, the lefty, up in the Nats bullpen. I have no idea who would close today for the Nats if they get a lead. Maybe Solis. And Taylor takes that fastball off the plate. So Blevins having a lot more success throwing strikes with his curve than with his fastball. And for the second straight hitter, he's behind 2-0.
Tough place for Blevins to be.
You got Harper on deck. 2-0 to Taylor. Fastball popped up foul. That'll come out of play. Taylor 0 for 2 in his career against Blevins. Harper looming. Rayburn, not much speed at first. Two-1 coming. Fastball in the air, deep right field. Back goes Bruce to the track at the wall. It's out of here. Michael Taylor, an opposite field 2-run homer to break the ice in the bottom of the 8th. 12th home run of the year for Taylor. 2-0 Washington.
Well, the 2-0 pitch, Taylor had a real good cut on a fastball. I think he got the same pitch from Blevins away. We've talked about his ability to go coast to coast with power. Yeah, fastball away. That's 5 rows back. Let's be seeing a star emerging here for the Nationals.
Got an opportunity to play when Adam Eaton went down in late April, and he's taken full advantage of this opportunity. 2-0 Washington. Now Bryce Harper is 1 for 3 tonight. Bluffs a bunt and takes ball 1.
I mean, he was going with that pitch the entire way, trying to stay behind the baseball, and I think that's what has made Taylor a better hitter, trying to use the opposite field, middle of the field more instead of being all pull.
Only the 3rd home run Blevins has allowed this year. But I have to tell you, it's like we're playing with Super Balls.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, Gary, I think I let a little gasp out when Taylor hit it, because anything that's squared up, anything in the air is going out of the ballpark.
And, I mean, it's like no chance of it staying in the ballpark.
Good curveball by Blevins, 2-1. I mean, just watching from the center field camera, the location, the contact, that's a ball that in past years did not go out of the ball.
No, I mean, you base hit to right, you can take.
Right.
But, I mean, everyone in baseball now can go opposite field, like with ease. I mean, not moaning and groaning up here. The young man did his job, and he hit the ball square and all that. But the baseball world as we know it has changed.
Well, Blevins hurt himself, falling behind consecutive hitters, and it's cost him 2 runs. And it is imperative for him to not allow any more here. And that's going to be all for Blevins as Harper draws the walk. So walk, home run, walk after getting the ground out from Murphy. And they'll bring in the right-hander to face Zimmerman and Rendon. But with the state of the Nats bullpen, if the Mets can keep this within 2 runs, they might have a chance. We'll be right back. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by the State Farm agent of the game, John Garfinkel of Brooklyn. Contact John at johngarfinkel.com. By Tri-State Buick, experience the new Buick for yourself at your nearest Buick dealer. And by Citi, proud partner of the New York Mets. Paul Sewald comes in to face Ryan Zimmerman.
Well, the last 10 days, Sewald now has been in 6 games.
Last pitch Saturday night against the Phillies. Got a couple of strikeouts wrapped around a base hit. Zimmerman 0 for 3 tonight, including a ground ball double play in the first. Sewald could use one of those. Harper at first with 1 out. 2 runs home on the Michael Taylor home run to snap a scoreless tie. Inside to Zimmerman, 2-0. And the pattern that Blevins established continues with Sewald falling behind these Nats hitters late in this game.
Well, Nats did it early in the game, but he had good enough stuff to get through.
Zimmerman flies 1 out to center field. Back goes Nimmo. Onto the warning track, stumbles slightly and makes the catch. Looks like he stumbled coming off the edge of the track. Harper tags and he goes to second. Awkward play for Nimmo. He makes the grab, but Harper able to move up into scoring position with 2 out.
Nimmo was motioning like he lost where the ball was. He did. He lost it for a second. That's why he was kind of awkward with his feet. He went all the way back to the wall. He looked up and he lost the ball for a second.
So now who do you want to face, Rendon or Wieters?
Rendon's got to be walked here.
I mean, Wieters is a switch hitter. Rendon's a right-hand batter with the right-hander on the mound. And for the moment, it looks like the Mets are going to pitch to him.
How many times do you have to have Rendon rake you this year before you learn your lesson?
Rendon's 1 for 3 today. Harper at second with 2 out. And Sewald misses away, ball 1. And a call strike. 1-1. In the 9th, the Mets will have Bruce, T.J. Rivera, and Duda due up. And it looks like Sammy Solis is going to be the guy. Recently back off the DL. Why not? Dusty's tried everybody else.
Right.
And time was asked for. They've got Coda Glover on the DL. They've got Sean Kelly on the DL. Blake Trinan has struggled when he's been asked to close. And they're getting a righty up now as well. So who knows what they're going to do?
But they don't know what they're going to do. That's the
Perhaps not.
point.
So Trinan getting up as well. Here's the 1-1 and the slider, a half swing, and he stopped it in time. First base umpire Carlos Torres giving Rendon a little break. 2-1.
Boy, that was a big call there by Torres at first base. The umpire I thought he went 2-1 now instead of 1-2.
It's Matt Albers, the right-hander, up alongside Solis. Fouled away by Rendon. 2-2. Two from Sewald, and Rendon takes the fastball away. 3-2. Harper at second and 2 out, and Rendon bounces one foul. Let's answer our Verizon trivia question. We asked who were the first 2 Nats to be chosen for the National League All-Star team.
Cordero and Wilkerson. No, you got it right, Gary. Way to go. Leave on.
Well, we guessed enough people.
Yeah. He almost had the whole team at some
2
point.
out of 5 or 10. They're doing the wave. Fireworks after the game tonight here in D.C. 3-2, and Rendon fouls off the fastball. So the Mets opting to have Sewald pitch to Rendon, and Rendon, as you would expect, giving him a tough turn at bat. Matt Wieters would be next. Eighth pitch of the at bat coming, and Rendon fouls that one away. If you're in the middle of a wave and the foul ball comes your way,
yes,
what takes precedence, the wave or the ball?
The ball.
I've never participated in a wave, so I wouldn't know.
I thought they were gone. I remember them from my day, but I thought they had gone. The way the dodo.
Retro chic. 3-2. Little number. Charging is Rivera. Bare hand play. Low throw. Dug out by Duda. The throw to the plate. Did they call him out at first? They did. So the throw to the plate was superfluous as Duda was able to dig out that low throw by Rivera. And they get the third out at first base. But the Nats have taken the lead. Michael Taylor breaks the scoreless tie, taking Jerry Blevins the other way for his 12th home run. 2-0 Nationals as we go to the 9th in D.C. Rayburn stays in the game in left field, and Sammy Solis, who's never had a major league save, will try for his first tonight.
Well, he had an amazing year out of the Nationals bullpen last year, but had left elbow inflammation in the middle of April. And they thought he was only going to be gone maybe 10 or 12 days. He missed 65 games.
Well, the Nationals have had 7 games this year where they've led by 2 runs or more in the 8th inning or later that they've lost. No other teams had more than 4. They've had 7. So nothing has been automatic in the 9th inning for the Nationals. And here's another guy getting a chance to close a game. Perhaps they're going to keep Matt Albers busy in the bullpen.
And straight to 2-0 count.
Bruce is 0 for 3 tonight, hitless in his last 14 at bats, and quickly 3-0. And the Mets need a base runner any way they can find one to have a chance here in the 9th.
You know, to not be out there for a while and straight into the fire.
And Jay takes a strike, 3-1. So at least 28 years old. Good year last year, but this is only his 8th appearance this season with all that time spent on the DL.
That's to the point.
Bruce gets under one to right center. Taylor eases back to the edge of the warning track to grab it. 1 out. The Nats had a closer late last year. His name was Mark Melanson. They declined to re-sign him. Melanson went to the Giants, where he's had a rough go of it.
He's been on the disabled list twice out there.
The Nats have had opportunities to make deals for several other relief pitchers that they have not. They've signed some veterans to minor league deals who were released. Francisco Rodriguez, Kevin Jepson, with T.J. Rivera. Takes a fastball for a strike. But while the Nats bullpen has struggled against everybody else, they've been perfectly fine against the Mets. Mets have not taken advantage of those Nats bullpen woes in their head-to-head meetings. And TJ lines one into left field for a base hit. And the Mets will get the tying run to the plate in the 9th inning. So Rivera with just the 5th Mets hit of the night. A 1-out single, and Duda will come to the plate as the tying run.
Big curveball, nice hitting by Rivera. Another line drive. I mean, it's 1, 2, 3 of these a night from Rivera. Robbed of a hit earlier in the game.
So now Lucas is 1 for 2 in his career against Solis. And curveball away for ball 1. Duda 0 for 2 and a walk tonight.
Solis breathing pretty hard out there.
Duda has 3 homers against lefties this season. Bounces that one foul. 1-1. Oliver Perez gets up alongside Matt Albers. 1-1. Low and away with the fastball. 2-1.
So with Perez getting up, it makes me feel like this is Solis's last batter. Albers will face Darno, and then Perez will come in to face Nimmo.
In which case you probably get Wilmer Flores.
There you go.
Two and 1 did Lucas. And Duda grounds one foul.
2-1 changeup from Solis. 3rd pitch in the 9th inning. Whoa.
Three infielders now on the right side against Duda. 2-2 coming. Fastball just missed. Full count. Duda, the USC Trojan, against Solis, the University of San Diego Torero. Three and 2 with 1 out. And Duda pulls one down the line foul.
Breaking ball, right, Gary? Maybe changeup.
Jeez.
He's a fastball, breaking ball pitcher, and to go with a changeup, which is the 3rd best pitch in the 9th inning. Boy, you'd hate to get beat by that. Or there was a premise in the day that you wouldn't want to get beat by that.
Well, certainly not lefty-lefty.
I know.
But perhaps he reinvented himself during his 2 months on the disabled list.
We don't know where he's at with his elbow, right?
Right now, Dusty Baker with his bullpen just throwing stuff against the wall and hoping something sticks. Solis with a 3-2. And Duda takes strike 3 call. Got him looking at a fastball. Duda lingers to talk about it with Paul Nart, but that is the 2nd out in the top of the 9th.
Duda's arguing that the ball was down. Nart showed him with his hands the ball was high enough to be a strike. Let's see with our own eyes. The ball was outside.
It certainly wasn't down.
No, wasn't down, but it was outside.
Dusty Baker's going to make the pitching change and bring in Matt Albers to try and get the final out. So Solis gets 2 outs in the 9th, and Albers, the triple maker, will try and get the last one. 2-0 Nats. We'll be right back. Alvarez has 2 saves in his career, both this year, one against the Mets, and he'll try and get another tonight.
Let's see his numbers. Probably the best of anyone in that bullpen.
Curtis Granderson pinch hitting for Travis d'Arnaud. Curtis has been sitting out with a bit of a hip problem. Alvarez stepping off, but Zimmerman is playing behind the runner Rivera at first.
Yeah, he wasn't sure that Zimmerman was playing behind. That's why he stepped off.
Granderson the tying run at the plate in a 2-0 game, and Curtis takes a strike. Curtis is 3 for 8 as a pinch hitter this year. He's been troubled by that hip the last couple of days, but feeling well enough to pinch hit. Nimmo on deck. Oliver Perez staying ready in the bullpen for the Nats.
You got to take the base, stop the force play. There you go.
Rivera goes, but Granderson grounds it foul, and now it's 0-2. And the Mets are down to their final strike. Curtis is 1 for 6 in his career against Matt Albers, who famously had an extra inning, extra base hit.
That's right.
As a member of the White Sox at Citi Field last year.
The most unlikely triple maybe in the history of the game. I mean, I don't know what Albers is doing. He's going to run, so don't worry about him. Leads 2 runs. You need to get Granderson out.
And there's nobody to throw it to.
Yeah.
0-2 to Curtis. And he hits it in the air to deep right center field. Back goes Harper on the warning track. Back at the wall. It's out of here! Curtis Granderson ties the game with a 2-run pinch hit home run. Bad hip and all with the Mets down to their final strike. Granderson ties it up. Unbelievable. 13th home run of the year for Granderson. And the Mets come back from the dead to get even in the 9th. An all-too familiar sight for Dusty Baker, seeing his bullpen blow another multiple-run lead in the 9th inning.
Doesn't matter what button he pushes. They all come up tilt for Dusty. Great at bat by Grandy.
4th home run that Albers has allowed this year. Now Brandon Nimmo takes ball 1.
I mean, just a nothing pitch, supposed to be inside. It was up and away and dumped into the first row.
That ball really carried. When Harper started back, he thought he was going to have a play on that ball, and it just kept going and going. Super balls indeed. Each side with a late 2-run homer.
How about Harper's reaction? How many times has he had to have that reaction this year?
8 times now this year, the Nats have blown at least a 2-run lead in the 8th inning or later.
Fence high.
Guess his hip is just well enough. Now it's 2-0 to Nimmo, with Wilmer Flores on deck to pinch hit. And Brandon pops one up. Wieder's waiting for it to come down and barely stays with it to retire the side. But the Mets live on in the 9th inning, down to their final strike. Curtis Granderson off the bench as a pinch hitter, down to the count 0-2, and got just enough to plunk one in the front row. 2-1 homer ties the game. We go to the bottom of the 9th in D.C. 2-2 ball game. Paul Sewald will stay in to pitch the ninth. Matt Wieters leads off and takes outside. Rene Rivera now into catch after d'Arnaud left for a pinch hitter. Addison Reed was up in the bullpen, but not coming into a tie game on the road. 2-0 to Wieters, who's gone 0 for 3 tonight. Sewald came in to get the final 2 outs in the 8th after Jerry Blevins allowed the 2-run homer to Michael Taylor that gave the Nationals the lead. A lead that held until 2 out of the top of the 9th when Granderson hit a 0-2 pitch out of the ballpark to tie it. Now it's 3-0 to Wieters to start the last of the night. Fernando Salas, Josh Edgin ready in the bullpen.
That was some kind of move by Terry. You haven't seen him a handful of times bat for d'Arnaud late in games.
And that's ball 4. So a 4-pitch walk from Sewald to Wieters. Not the way he wanted this inning to begin. Now you got Wilmer Defoe who can bunt at the plate.
You got to run for Wieters, don't you?
Well, they've got Stephen Drew, who's a little banged up on the bench, and they've got Adam Lind, who's slow.
They got to have one of their pitchers can run faster than Wieters. Wieters can't run. I mean, it's not his fault. He's a catcher. Defoe's going to be bunting here, and you got to get someone who can get to second base.
I think Joe Ross would probably be the guy, but they might have sent him home with an 11 a.m. game tomorrow that he's pitching.
Bad move.
So Wieters will stay in. Defoe for the bunt, and he fouls it back. Defoe has an infield hit, a walk, a stolen base. He's also fouled out, 1 for 2. You got the rookie Adrian Sanchez on deck. And then the pitcher spot. They still have Drew and Lind and the backup catcher Jose Lobaton in the dugout.
Yeah, Drew could bat for Sanchez.
And Defoe lays off, and it's high, 1-1. And indeed, Stephen Drew has come out on deck to bat for Sanchez. Then they would have Lind to bat for the pitcher. TJ Rivera charging hard from third base with Defoe showing bunt all the way. And he fouls back another one, and now it's 1-2. So does he swing the bat here, or do they go down the line with the bunt?
I think Dusty's going to put the bunt on again, and that's against what I usually think.
Rivera still well in on the grass looking for the bunt, and Defoe squares, pops it up in foul ground. Doesn't matter if he catches it or not, because that would have been strike 3 anyway. And that's the first out of the inning, and Defoe hears it from the crowd.
Well, if you're batting under 200, you got to be able to get the bunt down. He was not. Given 3 chances.
So now the veteran Stephen Drew will bat for Adrian Sanchez, who was 0 for 3 in his first major league start. Drew is getting most of the reps at shortstop right now with Trey Turner out. Josh Edgin is available in the bullpen, and Terry's going to take the ball and give it to the left-hander to face Drew. 2-2 game in the bottom of the 9th. Edgin coming on. We'll be right back to DC. Josh Edgin trying to hold the fort in the bottom of the ninth.
One out here. 3/4 of the runners he's inherited have been stranded.
Stephen Drew pinch hitting for Sanchez. Adam Lind on deck to bat for the pitcher. Matt Wieters carrying the potential winning run at first with 1 out. Drew has 1 at bat against Edgin in his career, 0 for 1. And he takes a slider off the plate for ball 1. Drew was out for about 7 weeks with a hamstring injury, so he's only had 61 at bats this year. He's hitting .311, and he's going to get most of the playing time until Trey Turner's ready to come back and play shortstop. Drew now 34 years old, and he takes the cutter off the plate, and it's 2-0. What is it with Met relievers? His last 2 innings falling behind 2-0.
The fastball command has not been there.
And that's a little high, and now it's 3-0. The inning began with a 4-pitch walk to Wieters. Then Defoe couldn't get the bunt down, and Sewald got an out. And now Edgin's first batter, he's fallen behind 3-0. The pitchers have walked 5 tonight, and now 6, and that pushes the potential winning run to second base. That's just awful.
You ask any manager in baseball, will tell you the same thing. Well, maybe Dusty will tell you something different now the year he's had, but most managers will tell you the same thing. When you ask a reliever or you bring a reliever into the game, you can't walk the first hitter. Can't.
So now Lind will be the pinch hitter, and the winning run is at second base. Now keep in mind that the winning run is Wieters, who's not a particularly fast runner, so it's not automatic that a base hit brings in the winning run. Max Scherzer had a helmet in his hand, maybe trying to lobby the pinch run. I don't know if you put your $200 million pitcher in the pinch run.
Especially how locked in he is.
Lind at second, Drew at first with 1 out, 2-2 last of the ninth. And Lind, the pinch hitter, having a really good year off the bench. And Edgin finally throws a strike. Lind against lefties has had only 9 at bats this year, 2 for 9. But look at those pinch hitting numbers. 3 pinch hit home runs this season. Gets this one in the air to center field. Back goes Nimmo. He's got room. And Brandon puts it away. Wieters tags. He'll go to third. Now there are 2 out.
Just missed that. Stayed in the ballpark.
So now Ryan Rayburn is coming up. Terry Collins is coming out. And it looks like he's going to make a double switch. They'll want to bring a right-hander in to face Rayburn, with Dusty now out of bench players other than his switch-hitting backup catcher Jose Lobaton. And so Fernando Salas will come in to face Rayburn, and we'll be right back to D.C. This game to extra innings.
Don't have any history here with Rayburn and Salas.
Last time out Saturday night, Salas gave up the 3-run homer to Tommy Joseph, but then wound up the winning pitcher. Wilmer Flores comes in to play first base. He'll bat ninth. Salas will go in Duda's number 6 spot. Winning run at third with 2 out. Ryan Rayburn the batter, and Salas misses inside, ball 1. Rayburn came up as a pinch hitter in the 8th, drew a walk right in front of Michael Taylor's 2-run homer that broke the scoreless tie, and he stayed in to play left field. Wieters at third, Drew at first with 2 out. 2-2 last of the ninth. Line left field, coming on is Cespedes, sliding, he dropped the ball, and the ball game is over. The Nats win the game on a walk-off hit off the bat of Ryan Rayburn. Cespedes tried the desperation slide, but came up empty, and the Nats win the game 3-2.
Well, it's not only that, but coming in to make the play, it looks like Cespedes hurt himself. Trying to turn it on to come up with the play, was not able to, and limping off the field as Rayburn gets the big hit to score Wieters and to give the Nationals a victory.
So after the dramatics by Curtis Granderson, his 2-out, 2-strike pinch hit home run in the top of the ninth, the Mets bullpen unable to get it to extra innings. Cespedes bending that right leg awkwardly as he tried to make the slide, and walking off under his own power, but gingerly as he goes. But the Nats take the opener of this 3-game series and drop the Mets now 10.5 games behind. The umpires are waiting for something. What is it that could possibly be challenged in this circumstance? Ronnie?
I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, the play certainly wasn't made in left field. Could you go back and look? Did Wieters touch home plate? I mean, that would be an obvious thing that he'd have to have done.
Well, whatever it is, they have confirmed the winning run, and the Nats now officially have won the ball game. The only thing I could think, maybe Stephen Drew didn't touch second base, so you could have a force there that would end the game.
Yeah.
A Merkel's play. Yeah. In any event, a game that was dominated by the starting pitchers, Steven Strasburg and Steven Matz, each of whom threw 7 scoreless innings. Michael Taylor's 2-run homer opening the scoring at the bottom of the 8th. Granderson's dramatics to tie the game in the top of the 9th. And then after a couple of walks, this hit by Rayburn.
Let's just watch the runners here. Stephen Drew, he gets to second base. Rayburn touches first. Maybe Terry just so concerned about watching to see if Cespedes made the play that he wanted him to check if all the bases were touched.
So all bases have now been covered. Tonight's game summary presented by Tri-State GMC. A disappointing start to this series for the Mets. Great pitching by Steven Matz. Dramatic home run by Curtis Granderson as a pinch hitter in the top of the 9th. But the Nats win it on the walk-off hit by Ryan Rayburn against Fernando Salas in the bottom of the 9th. And the Nats take the opener of this 3-game series 3-2.
It was a fastball, and it really ran up his bat, kind of broke his bat. So that's the reason that it died in front of Cespedes. But Rayburn and Lind have been so good off that bench. Veterans off the bench for the Nationals, and they get a win.
Albers blows the save in the top of the 9th. He winds up with the victory. Paul Sewald takes the loss, and the Nats get the walk-off win and overcome their bullpen again. And really, that's been a big story to their season. They are comfortably in first place despite a bullpen that has just been dreadful at the end of games.
You know, it doesn't